Chapter 3549. I was wondering who it was. So it's you guys who don't know what's good for you. How dare you come here? Do you want to die? The Crimson Dragon looked at these people and sneered. The others were in an uproar. Who are these people? How dare they go against the Yun family? Are they tired of living? The Yun family was one of the top families on the Blue Moon planet, so no one dared to be impudent. Catch this snake. I'm going to pull out his tendons and skin him to make a leather belt. The robbers gritted their teeth. At the same time, I want these people to kill him as well. He pointed at Lin Xian, the light-armored man, and the others. Then, he looked at the masked woman. This girl is not bad. Catch him. I'm going to give him to young Master Yun first. As soon as he said that, the surrounding people quickly attacked. Damn, Bin Huang will kill you. The Crimson Dragon rushed out and fought with those people. The masked woman and the light-armored man did not move because the Crimson Dragon looked very domineering. There were only a few people left. However, there were still people who broke through. They took the lead to attack the beasts and Lin Xian. One of them was a burly man who was at the late stage of the first heaven. He held a mountain-splitting axe in his hand and chopped it down. This time, it could split the entire world in half. Boom! The terrifying axe landed on Lin Xian's body and made a sonorous sound. Many people closed their eyes, because this attack could definitely split Lin Xian in half. It might even be able to kill him. Even many people on the side of the masked woman and the azure-armored man frowned. However, in the next moment, they were stunned because they saw a shocking scene. The attack that could split the world landed on Lin Xian's body and made countless sparks. However, Lin Xian did not move at all. He was not injured. There was not even a crack on his body. How is that possible? Everyone on the 9th floor went crazy. Who is this person? The green-armored man and the masked woman were also stunned. What a strong physique. Could it be that he's a body-tempering expert? Damn it, go to hell. The burly man's hands were numb from the shock. At the same time, he let out another roar and chopped down with all his might. This time, the power was stronger than before, and the laws were also stronger. However, this time around, the axe was directly shattered. Not only that, the burly man vomited blood and was sent flying. His arms instantly turned into a bloody mist. The North Goblins also joined the battle to help the Crimson Dragon. In no time at all, they sent those people flying. This scene shocked everyone. The bandits were also stunned. They were so scared that they started to tremble. Heavens, aren't these three a little too ferocious? One of them swept through everything, and the other one's body was actually so valiant. Damn it, who are you people? The warriors of the Yun family roared crazily. Lin Xian said coldly, You are not qualified to know my name. A middle-aged man walked over. However, it's a pity that you met me. Let me tell you, we're from the Yun family, and we're young Master Yun's subordinates. If you offend us, you're dead meat. If you surrender now, you might have a chance to live. What young Master Yun? Young Master Go? It has nothing to do with me. Lin Xian said indifferently. The moment he said that, everyone's expression changed. There was actually someone who dared to look down on young Master Yun and even dared to insult and humiliate him. Does this kid want to die? Good kid, you've got guts. Just you wait. Those people obviously wanted to call for more help. Lin Xian smiled. He was willing to accompany them anytime. Most of the people left, and only a small number of them stayed. The middle-aged man also stood in the distance, laughing coldly. The Crimson Dragon of the North Goblins had returned, and the masked woman was shocked. Lin Xian did not even move from the start to the end, and his expression was incomparably unreadable. This person was very strange. Who was he? That piqued her interest. Thinking of that, she took off the green veil on her face, leaving only the last layer. Although it was still a little hazy, they could see a little more clearly. Instantly, many people exclaimed, What a beautiful woman. No wonder the Yun family wanted to make a move. Even if young Master Yun saw her personally, he would be incomparably moved. Lin Xian was also surprised. He had to admit that this woman was very beautiful and had a myriad of different kinds of charm. Although half of her face was covered, her pair of eyes were like limpid autumn water, able to captivate souls. Was it an eyebrow technique? He looked and shook his head. No, she was born like that. Thinking about it, it should be related to her physique and bloodline. Lin Xian guessed in his heart. On the other side, the light-armored man's face was flushed, and his eyes shone brightly. He said, "Don't worry, Fairy Rain. I know some people on Blue Moon Planet. I'll help you settle this matter." As he said that, he asked one of his subordinates to leave. It seemed that he had gone to call for more help. Not long after, that subordinate returned, and at the same time, another man came with him. That man looked like a typical young master of a large family. His clothes were incomparably luxurious, and many of them were half-step sage artifacts. One could imagine that his identity was not ordinary. When the light-armored man saw that person, he immediately smiled and said, "Brother Yang, long time no see. Indeed, it's you." When Yang Tai saw Ting Shan, he also waved his hand and said, "Why? Did you get into trouble that you need me to settle?" There were indeed some matters that required Brother Yang's help. Tung Shan invited the other party over. Yang Tai raised his chin arrogantly, as if his identity was more honorable than Tung Shan. However, when he came near, he saw the masked woman. His eyes immediately lit up. He did not know how to address this fairy. Tung Shan said, "Brother Yang, this matter is related to Fairy Rain." As he said that, he gave a simple explanation. Then, he said, "Blue Moon Planet's young Master Yun dares to have designs on us." As he said that, he snorted coldly. Yang Tai was originally greedy for the masked woman's beauty, but when he heard that, he was stunned. He asked, "Young Master Yun? Which young Master Yun?" Blue Moon Planet had a moon bay. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered there, and the essence of the sun and moon. It was really an excellent place to cultivate and live. Blue Moon Bay was like a crescent moon that flowed on the ground. Those who could build palaces here were definitely the top families and sages with status. At this moment, in the middle of the Moon Bay, there was a majestic hall. In the hall, there were singing and dancing girls. Every single one of them was extremely beautiful, and their cultivation was excellent. Some of them were even cultivation cauldrons for martial artists. At this moment, they were all surrounding those people. If there were other people here, they would definitely be shocked. These were all sages. Moreover, they were all extremely famous sages in Blue Moon Planet. At this moment, all of them were gathered together. Who could have such great power? These sages were facing such beautiful girls. They were the best cultivation cauldrons. However, they did not care at all. Their gazes. They were all placed in front. At the forefront, there were two figures sitting there. They were two men who looked very young. One of them was wearing a brocade robe and had a smile on his face. The other person was wearing a Taoist robe and had a look of arrogance on his face. Chapter 3550. Young Master Gao, come and have a drink. This is a 7,000-year-old spiritual wine. It's very precious. I've specially prepared it to entertain you, young Master Gao. The young man in a cloud robe smiled. The other man in a Taoist robe, young Master Gao, nodded slightly and drank a cup. However, there was a look of disdain in his eyes. A 7,000-year-old spiritual wine specially prepared to entertain him? To be honest, he didn't take it seriously. His status was much higher than the other parties. He had even drunk a 10,000-year-old spiritual wine before, let alone a 7,000-year-old spiritual wine. All of you, quickly serve young Master Gao. The young man in a cloud robe said again. He waved his hand, and the surrounding ladies swarmed around young Master Gao. The young man in a cloud robe was called Yun Hai. He was a young master of the Yun family. The Yun family was one of the top families in the Blue Moon Star. Hence, his status was extremely honorable. Wherever he went, he would be surrounded by stars. Even those sages had to be under his feet. However, at this moment, he was trying to curry favor with young Master Gao because young Master Gao's background was even more extraordinary. Young Master Gao wasn't from the Blue Moon Star, but from the second astral realm. To be exact, he was from the second astral realm, Sky Thunder City. Sky Thunder City was much stronger than the Yun family. Not to mention the Yun family, even the entire Blue Moon Star combined couldn't compare to Sky Thunder City. Hence, he had to curry favor with young Master Gao. As long as he had young Master Gao's support, he would become the family head sooner or later. Not only that, He could also make the Yun family the only overlord of the Blue Moon Star. Thinking of this, he was extremely excited. At this moment, the sages below started chatting. Most of them were sucking up to young Master Gao. They also knew young Master Gao's identity. One of them said that there were more and more people heading to the Blue Moon Star. It seemed that they all wanted to go to the second astral realm. That's right. I heard that Wushuang City is recruiting disciples from the Sage King. This is definitely an earth-shattering event. So what if it's Wushuang City? At this moment, young Master Gao snorted coldly. The other sages were so frightened that they broke out in cold sweat. Young Master Gao was right. No matter how powerful Wushuang City was, it couldn't be compared to Sky Thunder City. That was natural. The Sky Thunder City was extremely powerful, and as the genius of the Sky Thunder City, young Master Gao would definitely be able to sweep across all directions. I'm afraid no one in the younger generation of our first astral realm is a match for young Master Gao. Young Master Yun, who was at the side, also laughed. However, he snorted coldly in his heart. No opponent? That might not be the case. Putting aside Wushuang City, there was a Saint King overseeing it. It was not any weaker than Sky Thunder City. Furthermore, it was said that someone had killed 2 experts from the Sky Thunder City when they were refining the Gold Star. This matter caused an uproar. Of course, they didn't dare to mention it in front of young Master Gao. Otherwise, he would definitely go crazy. He wondered how many geniuses would be heading there this time. There should have been quite a lot of them in the past, but now, there would probably be less of them. It was impossible for the 6 great sects to join. Yes, I heard that he was beaten by Lin Wudi and went into seclusion, not daring to come out for 500 years. That Lin Wudi was too strong. It was said that even the successor of a great emperor had been defeated by him. It was estimated that there were not many people among the younger generation in the first astral boundary who could be his opponent. Those sages sighed. This was definitely a peerless genius. At this moment, Mr. Gao sneered. Lin Wudi? How arrogant. How dare he claim to be invincible? He could only be called an ant. If he went to the second astral boundary, he could probably find anyone to kill him. Young Master Gao's eyes were filled with disdain. In his opinion, the people in the first astral boundary were just SOSO. They were not worthy of his attention at all. Lin Wudi was just a bunch of ants. He was bragging too much. The other sages didn't dare to speak. They could only nod repeatedly. Young Master Gao was disdainful, but they didn't dare to. They were in the first astral boundary and knew too much about Lin Wudi's legend. Therefore, even young Master Yun didn't dare to say anything. If he really faced Lin Wudi, he would probably be scared to death. Anyway, Lin Wudi had nothing to do with them. They were mainly responsible for sucking up to young Master Gao. However, at this moment, the voice of a guard came from outside. Then, a guard walked in. What's going on? Can't you see that I'm entertaining young Master Gao? Didn't you say that no one is allowed to disturb me? Young Master Yun was very displeased. However, the guard said that the young master had an urgent matter. He leaned close to young Master Yun's ear and quickly transmitted his voice. Young Master Yun was furious. What's going on? The saints below also asked the same question. Young Master Yun said, someone dares to provoke me. Moreover, my subordinate said that he found a peerless beauty and wanted to offer her to young Master Gao. Young Master Gao didn't care about the peerless beauty at first. However, when his subordinate conjured that illusion, he was stunned. Then, a glint appeared in his eyes. Although the woman in the illusion was wearing a veil, he could tell at a glance that she was a peerless beauty. She was prettier than all the other women combined. More importantly, she seemed to have a hint of charm that the others didn't have. Therefore, his interest was immediately piqued. Where is this woman? Initially, young Master Yun didn't care about those ants. He could let the sages under him deal with them. However, when he saw young Master Gao, his interest was piqued. He also said, where are those people? Young Master, they are at Northview Tower. Northview Tower? It's not that far away. Young Master Gao, why don't we go there? It just so happens that Northview Tower is a very famous place on Cerulean Moon. Young Master Gao stood up. He didn't care about Northview Tower, but he had to see the peerless beauty. Northview Tower, 9th floor. At this moment, everyone was silent. Yang Tai's expression was very unusual. Tangshan said, I don't know who young Master Yun is, but Brother Yang, you have to help us this time. At the very least, you have to protect Fairy Yu. Yang Tai's eyes flashed. If it was an ordinary young Master Yun, he naturally wouldn't care. However, he was afraid of the Yun family. If it was the top Yun family, he really didn't know what to do. At this moment, the warriors who were still standing in the distance sneered. The middle-aged man also snorted coldly. Oh, isn't this the young master of the Yang family? What should I do? How dare you interfere in my business? Does the Yang family want to be exterminated? When he said that, Yang Tai was instantly enraged. Someone actually dared to threaten him and exterminate the Yang family? I have to see who it is. He slammed the table and stood up. The next moment, he almost knelt on the ground. He realized that he knew that middle-aged man. That was a deacon of the Yun family. Why was he here? Could it be? He thought of a possibility and quickly lowered his head. Don't tell me you provoked them? Chapter 35:51. Tangshan said, That's right. It's them. They called for reinforcements. We took care of them. Take care of your sister. Yang Tai quickly sat down and said in a low voice, How did you offend him? Thus, Tangshan gave a simple explanation of what had happened earlier. Yang Tai disappeared after hearing that. He looked at Lin Xian and the other two as if he was looking at a dead man. Then, he said, Brother, do you know that you're in big trouble? You'd better not care about these people. They're going to die. He looked at Lin Xian and the others again and said, I advise you to let go of this woman because you can't afford to offend those people. What? Tangshan was stunned. He couldn't believe his ears. Brother Yang, what did you say? I asked you to come here to protect us. How could you say something like that? Could it be that you're afraid of them? That shouldn't be the case. Isn't the Yang family a big family? Tangshan, although we know each other, you can't frame me like this. Are you trying to kill me? Yang Tai's voice was cold. He even distanced himself. He said, Do you know who you've offended? You've offended the young master of the Yun family. And the Yun family is one of the top families on Cerulean Moon Star. The enormity of their strength is not something you can imagine. You're going to die for offending them, and you want me to help you? What a joke. He stood up as he said that. Seeing that we are acquaintances, you should go over and kowtow to him as an apology. I'll plead from the side and maybe they'll spare your life. But them? Don't even think about it. They're going to die. The Yun family was one of the top families. They could do anything. Tangshan was completely stunned. The guards beside him were also trembling in fear. They knew that they had kicked an iron plate this time. Although the Tang family was a big family, they couldn't even compare to the Yang family, let alone the Yun family. If they fought them head-on, they would definitely die. The masked woman frowned. It seemed that they had indeed gotten into trouble. The North Demon looked serious. The Crimson Dragon snorted. So what if they were a top family? He dared to come to Bin Huang and kill them with a slap. Just you? Yang Tai sneered and glanced at the Crimson Dragon and the others. 3 saints of the first celestial layer dared to boast like this? After all, just how many sages did the Yun family have? In their eyes, a first heaven sage was no different from an ant. He looked at Tangshan again. You've befriended such a person? Aren't you afraid of implicating your family? Hearing this, Tangshan took 2 steps back and distanced himself from Lin Xian and the others. He looked at the masked woman and said, Fairy Rain, why don't you come with me and apologize to him? Perhaps he will let us go. Impudent. Don't talk nonsense. How could my young miss possibly apologize? The little handmaiden instantly jumped up and retorted. Beside him, the northern demon let out a cold snort. He actually wanted to kowtow and apologize? What a spineless person. We disdain to associate ourselves with people like you. However, they were all top geniuses who had once stood at the peak of the world. Now, they were kowtowing and apologizing to someone else? What a joke. They wouldn't do that even if they were beaten to death. However, Tangshan actually wanted to do that in order to save his own life. How despicable. Tangshan looked at the northern demon and sneered. You've completely offended the Yun family and will definitely die. Therefore, there's no need for me to talk to you. I'm persuading Fairy Rain. What do you think, Fairy Rain? Have you thought it through? Do you really want to go against the Yun family? We've only met by chance. You don't have to care about this. If you want to kowtow and apologize, go ahead. It has nothing to do with me. The masked woman's voice was extremely cold as she rejected him directly. With her status, she naturally wouldn't kowtow and apologize to the Yun family. She just didn't want to expose her whereabouts. First, he was mocked by Lin Xian and the others. Now, he was rejected by the masked woman. Tung Shan's expression was extremely ugly. However, he knew the severity of the situation. He immediately stood up and sneered. Since you don't know what's good for you, forget it. As he spoke, he looked at Yang Tai with a pleading gaze. Yang Tai said, "Follow me." Then, they came to the side of the middle-aged man. Yang Tai smiled and said, "Uncle Yun, this friend of mine is ignorant. He came from another world and doesn't know how powerful the Yun family is. I hope Uncle Yun can forgive us for offending the Yun family." As he spoke, he gave Tung Shan a look. Tung Shan immediately knelt on the ground with a plop. The guards beside him also knelt on the ground. "We offended Uncle Yun. We admit our mistake. I hope Uncle Yun can spare our lives." As he spoke, he kowtowed and begged for mercy. Then, he took out his storage ring. There were 50,000 jin of divine crystals and some natural treasures. "I hope Uncle Yun can kindly accept it and spare us." The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and looked at this scene. He nodded slightly. "Oh, if you know your mistake and can change, you can still live." He looked at the storage ring again and held it with 2 fingers. He probed his soul spirit into the ring and smiled. "Young Master Tung, you can rise." "Thank you, Uncle Yun." Tung Shan and the others felt as if they had been pardoned. They quickly stood up and heaved a sigh of relief. Then, they turned their heads and looked in the direction where the masked woman and Lin Xian were and sneered. "Let's see how you will die later." "Damn, you really kowtowed and apologized?" This was 2F** King Spineless. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. "I can't believe I am drinking tea and chatting with you. How unlucky." As he spoke, he kept spitting saliva. "Hey, what do you guys plan to do?" The little maid looked at Lin Xian and the others. She realized that Lin Xian didn't seem to care at all. Other than the North Beast, who looked gloomy and serious, the other 2 didn't seem to care at all. Especially this dragon, who was basically provoking and ridiculing them. The other man, Lin Xian, sat there with a calm expression. He didn't seem to care at all. Was he pretending, or was he scared out of his wits? "What should I do? What should I do? If they don't offend me, I won't offend them. If they dare to attack, I will fight back. At most, I will destroy the Yun clan." Lin Xian drank a mouthful of spirit tea and said indifferently. When the others heard this, they were stunned. Destroy the Yun clan? Damn it, he dares to say this? Who is this kid? Is he crazy? On the other side, Yang Tai sneered. Tung Shan was also scared. Fortunately, he kowtowed and apologized early. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to escape. He didn't expect this kid to be such an idiot. Even the masked woman and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to say such arrogant words. Where did he get his confidence from? They weren't afraid because they were strong. That was why they weren't afraid. What was the source of his confidence? 3 people of the first sky. Even if they were strong, how strong could they be? Could it be that he was also a young master of a big clan? Did he hide his identity before? Chapter 3552. Kid, how dare you provoke the Yun family? You're courting death. The people in the distance roared furiously. However, they didn't dare to make a move. The Crimson Dragon and the North Demon's performance had shocked them. They could only wait for the experts from their families to arrive. Who's the one who doesn't put the Yun family in their eyes? At this moment, a cold shout came from outside the North Gazing restaurant. Immediately, the middle-aged deacon and the others were overjoyed. Great, someone from the family had come. They looked at Lin Xian and revealed a sinister smile. Kid, let's see how you're going to die later. There was a commotion on the lower floors. Then, many people came up the stairs. These people's auras were very powerful. They were all sages. The laws on their bodies revolved between heaven and earth. Young Master Yun, you actually came personally. The middle-aged man had a high and mighty look in front of Yang Tai and Ting Shan. But now, when he saw the young man in front of him, he immediately became humble and walked over like a dog. This was because the person in front of him was the young master of his family. He was his master. Young Master Yun was here too. Yang Tai took a deep breath. Tung Shan's scalp went numb. Fortunately, he had kowtowed and admitted his mistake. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to imagine what would happen to him. It was the young master of the Yun family. The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. Lin Xian and the others turned to look. The masked woman and her group also looked over. In the next moment, they were stunned. They didn't know who young Master Yun was, but they felt a familiar aura from the person beside him. The laws that he cultivated were very similar to those of Sky Thunder City. Could he be from Sky Thunder City? That's right, he was from Sky Thunder City. At this moment, an old man at the back said in a deep voice. He was a late-stage third heaven sage. He was the strongest in the group, so he recognized the other party's identity at a glance. Hearing this, the woman frowned and put on a few more layers of veil. It seemed like she wanted to hide her identity better, afraid that the other party would recognize her. This scene surprised Lin Xian. What was going on? Could it be that this woman knew the other party and didn't want to be recognized? He felt that this masked woman was full of mysteries. Up ahead, young Master Yun looked around and saw the veiled woman. Young Master Gao also saw her, and his eyes began to shine. However, the veil on her body actually blocked his soul probing. Therefore, he could not see what the other party looked like at all. However, the other party's eyes and the graceful aura on her body made his heart flutter. Before he could say anything, the middle-aged deacon beside him said respectfully, "Young Master Yun, it's that brat. Those fellows actually dared to provoke our Yun family. They even beat up our men. Young Master Yun, you must punish them properly." Humph. Young Master Yun turned his gaze over. Young Master Gao, who was beside him, also glanced at him. Then, he didn't care at all. In fact, his heart was filled with disdain. 3 people at the first celestial layer were just ants. There was no need to care about them. Young Master Yun's eyes were also filled with disdain. You guys can't even handle 3 first celestial layer ants? What a bunch of trash. The middle-aged man was shocked and quickly knelt on the ground. Young Master Yun, don't blame me. The 3 of them are too strange. They don't seem to be ordinary first celestial layer saints. Humph, what's so special about them? Get a second celestial layer saint to go up and capture them. I want them to suffer a fate worse than death. Behind them, a saint walked up with a strong aura. Damn it, do you want to fight? Ben Huang will definitely tear you to pieces. The Crimson Dragon jumped out. The North Demon's expression was also serious. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He shook the teacup in his hand and said calmly, "Oh, you dare to fight me?" As soon as he said that, the people on the 9th floor were speechless. This kid was too awesome. He was still so calm in front of young Master Yun. He even dared to threaten him. Young Master Yun also laughed. "Who do you think you are? How dare you threaten me? Kid, which family are you from? Don't think that you can show off in your world. On Cerulean Moon, I'm the king. You have to kneel in front of me. Do you understand? I'm afraid you don't have the ability to make me kneel." Lin Xian stood up. Immediately, the people beside young Master Yun had cold expressions. They emitted biting cold-killing intent and locked onto him. However, he didn't care. He took a step forward and directly arrived in front of young Master Yun. The distance between the 2 of them was very close. At that moment, Lin Xian's voice sounded again. "Those who oppose me don't have a good ending. They either have their souls destroyed or their families destroyed. Even if they're lucky, they'll have to go into seclusion for hundreds of years. Are you sure you want to be my enemy? Who is this kid? How dare he talk so big? That's right. Even the Yun family isn't so arrogant." Young Master Yun sneered. "Men, capture him. I want to see how he can be arrogant in front of me." The second celestial layer saint attacked. A hand of law grabbed at Lin Xian. However, it stopped 1 meter away from Lin Xian. It couldn't move forward at all. That scene caused everyone's expression to change. The second celestial layer saint's expression changed drastically. He roared angrily, and the power of law danced around his body as he exerted all his strength. However, he couldn't move forward 1 centimeter. This scene caused him to be terrified. Oh no, this young man seems to be an extraordinary person. Young Master Yun's eyelids twitched. He asked again, "Who are you?" Although he was shocked, he was not afraid. He had brought many second celestial layer saints with him. Even if one of them couldn't defeat the other party, a group of them would definitely kill him. "My name is Lin Xian." Lin Xian? Young Master Yun was stunned. He had never heard of that name. However, in the next moment, he was stunned. That was because he heard the other party's voice transmission. "I have another name, Lin Wudi." "What?" "Lin Wudi." Young Master Yun's body trembled, and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. "The other party is the rumored Lin Wudi? That's impossible." After the shock, he shook his head in disbelief. However, in the next moment, he saw the other party's golden eyes. Through those golden eyes, he saw an image. It was an image of Lin Xian leading the Langistar to attack the 6 major sections. In that battle, countless powerhouses of the 6 major sects fell and were forced to seal their mountains for 500 years. The scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood made young Master Yun kneel on the ground. Cold sweat soaked the ground. His kneeling stunned everyone on the 9th floor. What's going on? Young Master Yun actually knelt. Moreover, he was kneeling to an unfamiliar young man. That was unbelievable. The people of the Yun family were also stunned. Even young Master Gao was stunned. "Get up, young Master Yun. What's wrong with you?" The surrounding saints roared crazily. Some of them even stared at Lin Xian. "Damn brat, you actually dared to plot against young Master Yun. Die." In an instant, 3 second celestial layer saints attacked. Chapter 35:53. "Damn it, stop right there." At that moment, young Master Yun roared. Hearing this voice, the 3 second heaven saints all stopped in mid-air. They felt their bodies stiffen and their eyes were filled with doubt. "Why? Why won't you let us kill him?" "That's right. Could it be that you're under an illusion and are being controlled by him?" These people roared crazily. They did not believe that their young master would kneel to the other party. "Damn kid. What kind of sorcery did you cast on our young master? Undo it. Let our young master go, kneel, and accept your death. Otherwise, I'll let you know what regret is." They quickly surrounded Lin Xian, their eyes filled with cold murderous intent. However, young Master Yun remained kneeling on the ground and shouted coldly, "Do you want me to die? He's Lin Wudi." "What? Lin Wudi?" The sages were stunned. The next moment, their eyes widened, and their bodies trembled. Lin Wudi? The legendary Lin Wudi? At that moment, they were terrified. Many of their knees went weak, and they almost knelt on the ground. On the 9th floor, the others were also in an uproar. They looked at Lin Xian in shock. "He's the legendary Lin Wudi? He's even younger than the rumors say." Cries of surprise rang out one after another. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Even the masked woman's group looked at Lin Xian with great curiosity. "Is this person famous?" Young Master Gao looked at Lin Xian with a cold smile. "Lin Wudi? The legendary peerless genius of the first astral realm? It seems that he's just... How strong can a first heaven sage be? It seems that the rumors are exaggerated and cannot be trusted. Indeed, there are no geniuses in this astral realm. They're all trash." His eyes were filled with disdain. On the other hand, the Yun family members were scared out of their wits. How dare they fight Lin Wudi? What a joke. What happened to anyone who offended Lin Wudi? The great demon was killed. Yin Nanshan's fate was unknown. As for the 6 major sects, how many sages and geniuses were killed? They had been in seclusion for 500 years. Although the Yun family was strong, could they be stronger than the 6 great sects? Even the 6 great sects were no match for him. If they provoked Lin Wudi, their families would probably be destroyed. Thinking of this, these people were terrified. On the other side, Yang Taiding and Tang Shan were completely stunned. They didn't know Lin Xian before, but they had heard the name Lin Wudi many times. There were legends about Lin Wudi everywhere. Now, They didn't expect this legendary person to be right in front of them. Previously, they had even ridiculed the other party. They were simply courting death. Thinking of this, the two of them went limp and fell to their knees with a plop, trembling non-stop. In an instant, all of the saints fell to their knees. Impossible. Damn it. How is this possible? How could he be Lin Wudy? Tung Shan was astonished. He couldn't believe it. Even Yang Tai was stunned. They had Lin Wudy by their side. Did they still need to apologize? What a joke. Especially Tung Shan, he regretted it. If only he had a little bit of backbone back then, he could have waited for Lin Xin to reveal his identity. Then, he could have enjoyed the Yun family kneeling to him. He wouldn't have kneeled to the Yun family in advance. This made him lose all his face. He couldn't wait to find a hole to hide in. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. He glanced around and said calmly, "Now, no one dares to make a move, right?" The entire place was silent. Indeed, no one dared to make a move. Who would dare to make a move? The 6 great sects were the same. Isn't this too cool? The Crimson Dragon and the North Demon's eyes widened. They thought that Lin Xian would be fierce and kill everyone. But they didn't expect that just by saying his name, he could intimidate a group of saints. This scene was too cool. Humph. What Lin Wudy? A bunch of ignorant ants. Who in this world dares to call themselves invincible? At that instant, a cold laugh was heard, breaking the silence of the 9th city. Everyone's scalps went numb. They couldn't believe it. Who was that? Did he want to die by provoking Lin Wudy? In the next moment, they saw that the person who spoke was a young man beside young Master Yun. This young man looked arrogant. His clothes were luxurious, and he was carrying weapons. They had never heard of him before. This person's identity wasn't simple. Previously, they thought that he was from the Yun family. But now, it seemed like he wasn't. Even young Master Yun had knelt down, but this person still dared to provoke him. Young Master Gao, you? Young Master Yun was stunned. He didn't expect the other party to refute him. Under normal circumstances, he would definitely hug the legs of Sky Thunder City. He would let young Master Gao and Lin Wudy fight. But Lin Wudy's reputation was too strong. The Yun family didn't dare to take the risk. Hence, they knelt down. Young Master Gao's identity was obviously not ordinary. He said, "What kind of invincible are you? How dare you be arrogant in front of me? I'll give you a chance. Kneel down and lick my shoes. Then, I'll consider leaving your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll chop you into pieces. Who do you think you are?" Lin Xian frowned. Then, he looked at young Master Yun. "You're from the Yun family. How dare you provoke me? Do you want to wipe out your family?" Hearing this, young Master Yun's scalp went numb. The sages behind him were also trembling. They quickly explained, "No, he's not from the Yun family. This was young Master Gao from the 2nd Astral Realm. He was from Sky Thunder City." "What? He's from the 2nd Astral Realm?" The crowd was in an uproar. No wonder he dared to go against Lin Wudy. He's from the 2nd Astral Realm. The Sky Thunder City was definitely an extremely terrifying power. Most likely, no one here could be compared to them. No wonder they were so arrogant. They finally knew where they got their strength from. Among them, the masked lady and the rest sighed. They were right. Lin Xian smiled. Sky Thunder City? If they were from other saint cities, he might consider it. But Sky Thunder City? He didn't need to consider it. Previously, he had killed 2 people from Sky Thunder City. One was a genius, and the other was a level 4 sage. Therefore, when he met someone from Sky Thunder City, he instantly smiled. "Damn brat, what are you smiling at? Are you looking down on Sky Thunder City?" Young Master Gao was instantly enraged. Lin Xian's smile was obviously malicious. He couldn't accept that Lin Xian dared to look down on him. "Oomph, I'm laughing at you for being reckless. Sky Thunder City, do you still dare to be arrogant in front of me?" As he spoke, the bones on Lin Xian's face changed. Suddenly, a face appeared. When young Master Gao saw that face, he was scared out of his wits. "Damn it, it's you." His eyes almost popped out. He was too familiar with that face. It was this face that had killed Lei Qianzhong and a 4th layer sage. How could he forget it? That was the nightmare of Sky Thunder City. "It's you." He really didn't expect that the ruthless person was the young man in front of him. Chapter 3554. Run. Young Master Gao tore the void apart and fled without another word. Everyone on the ninth floor was stunned. Heavens, he actually escaped. How was that possible? Even young Master Yun and the rest were shocked. Although they had guessed that young Master Gao wouldn't dare to fight Lin Wudi, they didn't expect it to be like this. Lin Wudi actually escaped. Running away without a fight. Was the difference between them really that big? At this moment, everyone was shocked. The geniuses of the second astral realm and Sky Thunder City couldn't stop Lin Wudi's footsteps. Even the masked woman and the rest were stunned. Lin Wudi really had such power? But why hadn't they heard of him before? Humph! Lin Xian looked at young Master Gao running away and snorted coldly. With his strength and speed, he should have already escaped far away. He might even be about to escape from this world. However, he didn't care. He opened his Tianji divine eye, and it transformed into a bow. The dragon-shaped sword Qi turned into an arrow and flew out, piercing through the void. Outer realm. Young Master Gao heaved a sigh of relief. He had already reached the edge of this world. Soon, he would leave this world. Damn it, it was too dangerous. It was actually that ruthless person. He had to report this to the holy city and let the experts kill him. However, just as he finished thinking, an arrow pierced through his body. Then, his body shattered into pieces. Young Master Gao screamed in fright. His broken body quickly fled, disappearing into the void. He was really shocked. Lin Wudi could injure him so easily from so far away. This was heaven-defying. Lin Xian's simple move made the Yun family kneel and young Master Gao run away. This move stunned everyone. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and called the Crimson Dragon and the Northern Devil. The three of them learned about the fog ship from young Master Yun and then prepared to leave. After Lin Wudi left, the ninth floor heaved a sigh of relief. The Yun family felt as if they had been pardoned. At the same time, they were surprised that Lin Wudi was going to take the fog ship. It seemed like he was going to the second astral realm. That ruthless person was finally going to leave the first astral realm. They didn't know what kind of huge waves he would cause in the second astral realm. On the other side, the masked woman and her group also left quietly. Not long after they left, a young man with a pale face walked up the north-gazing tower. He sensed the aura around him, and a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. I can feel your aura. You just left. You can't escape. Red flames danced in his long and narrow eyes, as if there was a huge vermilion bird phantom. He instantly tore open the void and disappeared as well. The bewilderment fog ship was at the other end of the world. When Lin Xian and the others arrived, they felt a gust of sea breeze. The sea breeze was extremely cold. When it hit their bodies, it felt like a knife was cutting them. The storm seemed to be even more terrifying than the astral winds. Lin Xian and the others were shocked. This should be the sea breeze blowing from the chaotic star ocean, and this was only the seaside. This storm was already so terrifying. From this, one could imagine how terrifying the storms in the chaotic star sea were. No wonder ordinary saints didn't dare to go to the scattered star seas. They also saw the so-called fog and the dark red divine dragon. They all sucked in a breath of cold air. Damn it, is this a ship? It's practically an island. That's right. Lin Xian was also shocked. They thought that the bewilderment fog ship was something like the spiritual state, but now it seemed that it wasn't. There were many islands floating in the sky, and they were huge. Moreover, there were cities, pavilions, and even mountains, forests, waterfalls, and springs on the island. Everything was there. Was this the bewilderment fog ship? They weren't sure. After asking around, they learned that it was indeed the bewilderment fog ship. It turned out that to go to the chaotic star seas, especially to fight against the death fog, one needed chaos chi. These islands contained chaos soil. Therefore, it could lead to the death fog. Otherwise, other spirit ships wouldn't be able to pass through, unless those people brought along chaos soil alone. However, chaos soil was very precious, and ordinary people couldn't get it. Although these 5 bewilderment fog ships were on the Blue Moon planet, the forces and masters behind them were all from the second astral realm. This time, there were a total of 13 bewilderment fog ships heading to the second astral realm, and 5 had already left. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the ship closest to him. This bewilderment fog ship was called the Milky Way because one could clearly see a Milky Way running through the entire huge island. Lin Xian and the others inquired about it. Just the boarding fee alone required 10,000 caddies of divine crystals per person. It could be said that it was very extraordinary. It was really a profiteering industry. This time, just this ship alone could accommodate millions of people. This wasn't the kind of situation where people would sit next to each other. Instead, everyone had their own cave abodes, and they were very far away from each other. There were even some top-grade places where no one was allowed to enter. Even so, it could still accommodate millions of people. One could imagine how big this island was. Just the boarding fee for this trip alone would be an astonishing figure. Moreover, this was just boarding the ship. The various expenses on it were even more astonishing. It could be said that without status and background, one wouldn't dare to board these islands. Lin Xian and the other two paid the boarding fee and went up. After going up, they sensed that there were actually supreme-grade spirit veins intersecting. There were a total of 8 of them. The closer the palace to the supreme-grade spirit vein, the more expensive it was. Lin Xian and the others didn't need to chase after supreme-grade spirit veins because they had cultivation resources in their hands. Therefore, they found some ordinary palaces to stay in. Not long after Lin Xian went up, the masked lady and the others arrived. When the maidservant saw the Milky Way ship, her eyes lit up. "Miss, it's the Milky Way ship. We are in luck. If it's the Milky Way ship, then we can completely relax." The other guards also heaved a sigh of relief. Although the Milky Way ship wasn't controlled by their family, it was still under the banner of their ally. Therefore, the group of people walked up quickly. The masked lady took out a token and the guards on the ship immediately reported it. Not long after, an old man flew down from the Milky Way ship and greeted them respectfully. It was Fairy Rain. "Greetings, Fairy Rain. No need for formalities. Keep a low profile and bring us in." "Yes, please, Fairy Rain." The old man personally brought the masked lady and the others up to the island. The people around them were completely stunned. "Tianya, who was this woman?" The old man was an elder on the Milky Way ship and had a very high status. Lan Yuexin and the other family heads of the big families had to be respectful when they met him. Yet, at that moment, the old man was actually acting so respectfully toward a woman. This made them extremely curious. This scene happened to be witnessed by Tingshan, Yang Tai, and the others, who had just arrived from behind. Immediately, they gasped in shock. Chapter 3555. This woman was not simple. In fact, she was extremely complicated. Thinking of this, their faces turned bitter. One of them was Lin Wudi, a peerless genius whose name shook the first astral realm, and the other was a mysterious woman with such a noble status. As for him, he was also extremely arrogant and did not take anything seriously. However, in just a few short days, his confidence was completely shattered. So for a moment, he stood in front of the Milky Way, and his expression changed incomparably. This time, was there a need for him to go? Blue moon, in a dark hall, the mysterious man was still shaking the wine glass in his hand. In front of him, the warrior who left returned once again and knelt on one knee on the ground. "Young master, they have already boarded the ship." "Oh? Which one is it?" "The Milky Way." "The Milky Way?" It seemed that his luck was not bad. However, it was still useless. Even if he boarded the Milky Way, he could not save her fate. The mysterious man drank the spirit wine in his hand and then stood up. She was already in the net. It was time to make a move. "You sure, Chia? You can't escape from our grasp." The Milky Way. There were more and more people on the ship, and it had already exceeded 2 million. At this time, the pale man who seemed to be sick also came. He felt for a while, and a flame appeared in his eyes again. She came here? It seemed that she wanted to leave. Well, I'll deal with her on the way. He also paid 10,000 caddies of divine crystals and then boarded the island. When it reached 3 million people, an array formation was set up around the Milky Way, and no one was allowed to board the ship. Next, the huge island slowly flew into the distance. Not long after, it completely left Blue Moon and entered the universe. Whoosh! On the island, everyone looked around curiously because it was the first time most of them boarded the Milky Way, and it was also their first time going to the second astral realm. So they were very curious about what the legendary scattered starseed was like. They had not seen the scattered starseed yet, but they first felt a huge storm blowing from all directions. The wind blew on their bodies, making a thunderous sound. Soon, the array formation around them completely flickered and blocked the storm, but it did not completely eliminate it. Feeling the sea breeze of the scattered starseed was also unique. What a terrifying sea breeze. Was that the scattered starseed? Heavens, this disarray star ocean is too big, isn't it? Those worlds and planets are actually like islands. Exclamations of surprise could be heard. The surrounding people all saw that they had already entered the chaotic star ocean. Light flickered all around them. They were worlds of various sizes, but compared to the scattered star seas, they really did seem like islands. The scattered star seas was truly too vast. Flying alone was simply courting death. Compared to heaven and earth, humans were truly too insignificant. Looking at the strange scenery of the sea, the North Demon sighed with emotion. The Crimson Dragon said from the side, "Not only humans, but a world is also much smaller than the universe. The two of you, don't be discouraged. Although we seem very insignificant now, we can still shine brightly without a future." The primeval emperors could suppress the entire universe by themselves. At that level, the disarray star sea was just a puddle of water in his palm. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. That's right, we have to advance towards the path of the primeval emperors. The North Demon and the Crimson Dragon also took a deep breath. Oh my, 3 people at the first heaven were actually fantasizing about the primeval emperors here. What a fantasy. What a joke. They were courting death. At that moment, a disdainful voice was heard. Lin Xian frowned. He turned around and saw a group of people walking over arrogantly. The one who spoke was a man. He was sitting on the back of a majestic demonic wolf. The demonic wolf had actually reached the Saint Realm. That was the Howling Moon Demon Wolf. It was extremely terrifying and powerful. An ordinary first heaven sage was no match for it at all. At that moment, it was being used as a mount. This man's identity was not ordinary. That person revealed a disdainful smile and then left. Damn it, I really want to kill them. What's there to be arrogant about riding a stupid wolf? The Dark Rainbow Dragon was unhappy. The North Demon said, "Forget it. How can a sparrow know the ambitions of a swan? There's no need to get into a conflict with them." In the following days, they began to familiarize themselves with the island. They had to admit that the island was very magical. They also saw the Milky Way that shuttled through the island. They could feel the powerful aura of the Milky Way and were very emotional. At night, Lin Xian stood on the Milky Way and looked at the scattered star ocean in the distance. Looking at the night scenery, he was even more emotional. This was very useful for him to understand the great path of heaven and earth, especially after experiencing the vastness of the scattered star ocean. Although the Milky Way was very big, it was not slow at all. It was almost twice as fast as the spirit ship that Lin Xian and the others were on. Even so, it would still take a year to reach the second astral realm. It seemed that they would have to spend this year on the island. However, just 10 days later, something happened. That night, suddenly, the Milky Way shook violently. Everyone was awakened by the shaking. They walked out of the palace with puzzled faces. What's going on? Is the Milky Way under attack? The sages who were meditating outside opened their eyes one after another. Their faces were filled with confusion. They had no idea what was going on. They only saw monstrous waves in the distance that could swallow an entire world. In the center of the island, where the Milky Way surrounded, there was a palace. That was the best control hall for the Milky Way. That was where the person in charge of the ship lived. At this moment, the powerhouses and sages in the main hall were also awakened. Through the array formation, they looked at the scene outside and soon frowned. It shouldn't be. We have deduced that there shouldn't be such a powerful storm these days. Moreover, our route has been planned. There shouldn't be such a violent storm. 2 old men were holding the 8 trigrams, their expressions uncertain. The others were also discussing. What happened? Did someone attack us? Impossible. They didn't sense anyone's aura. Some people were also holding light balls and frowning. Suddenly, someone exclaimed and pointed at the array formation light screen. His face became extremely pale. "Look, what's that?" Everyone turned their heads and looked. The next moment, they gasped, because they saw a huge black tentacle on the light screen. It slapped the sea and stirred up waves that could swallow the world. The Doomsday Octopus. Heavens, why is that thing here? In the Milky Way, those people were completely stunned. They hurriedly activated all the arrays and let everyone in. Also, change the route and avoid the Doomsday Octopus. It shouldn't be attacking us. It's just passing by. We still have a chance of survival. These people moved quickly. On the island, everyone was completely stunned. Even Lin Xian and the others had expressions of astonishment on their faces. Chapter 3556. They also saw a huge tentacle that blotted out the sky and covered thousands of miles. It fell from the sky and hit the nearby seawater. The waves created by the explosion engulfed the entire island. Everyone retreated in fright. But at this time, the entire island was incomparably bright and directly sealed the island. The seawater hit the array and then quickly flowed away. At the same time, a loud voice sounded between heaven and earth. "Everyone listen up, immediately enter the palace. We will activate the array." Hearing this, everyone moved. They turned into a stream of light and flew to their own palace. During this time, some experienced people also said to leave quickly. "This is the Doomsday Octopus, and it's very terrifying." "What? Doomsday Octopus? That's a terrifying existence that can destroy a world. It's definitely a heaven-defying monster." Countless screams sounded, and the Crimson Dragon also gasped. At this time, the Elder on the Milky Way spoke again. "Everyone, don't panic. Although it's the Doomsday Octopus, it's not attacking us. I think it's just passing by. We will quickly change our course." With that, everyone could clearly feel that the Milky Way was changing its direction. Lin Xian looked at the huge octopus and was also shocked. If there was no array on the Milky Way, it would be absolutely difficult to escape from this Doomsday Octopus. Even a minor saint wouldn't be able to escape, right? "Kid, don't just stand there. Hurry up and leave." The Crimson Dragon called out. Lin Xian said, "It shouldn't be a problem. I want to feel the power of this Doomsday Octopus up close." Well, if they stayed here, they would be able to see that huge figure outside. Every attack was incomparably terrifying. The Milky Way flew for 4 hours before completely shaking off the Doomsday Octopus. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. It's too terrifying. This scene touched Lin Xian a lot. Next, he began to cultivate and comprehend the Great Tao. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. On this day, Lin Xian and the others came out again. They heard that the blue sky flower on the Milky Way had bloomed, and many people went to see it. Bai Luo, which meant blue sky. Rumor has it that it was an extremely rare elixir compared to the Bai Luo flower. Who would have thought that there would be one on the Milky Way? At the foot of the mountain, there was a small valley. Inside the valley, there were some jadefall flowers. It was abnormally ethereal. It was as dazzling as the blue sky. What was even more shocking was that there was a woman standing near the falling jade flower, a woman with a veil on her face. That woman was so beautiful. Yes, although I couldn't see her face clearly, I felt that she was very enchanting. "Get out of the way." A loud voice rang out. Following that, a huge force surged forward, pushing back the people in front. Those who came here were either saints or geniuses. They were naturally furious that they had been forced to retreat. Their bodies were surrounded by nomological laws, and a powerful force suppressed the surroundings. But soon, they cried out in surprise. An even more terrifying power swept over, forcing them to retreat. Who was it? They all turned their heads. They saw a gigantic howling moon demon wolf appear before them. The demon wolf was tall and terrifying. Its demonic aura surged into the sky, and on the howling moon demon wolf, there was a man sitting cross-legged. His face was arrogant. There were some saints walking around him. They were obviously guardians. It was someone from the Yu family. It was young Master Yu. Many people cried out in surprise. When they heard this name, They all stepped aside to make a path. Young Master Yu sat on the demon wolf and walked forward with a cold smile. He was also here to see the Bailuo flower. However, when he saw a beautiful figure standing beside the Bailuo flower, his eyes immediately lit up. There was a beauty. He jumped off the demon wolf and walked forward. He didn't expect that it was fate that he could meet such a beauty here. How should I address you? Young Master Yu went forward to curry favor. Yu Shichia's eyes flickered as if she was in a daze. When she saw someone walking over, she frowned slightly. To be honest, since she was already on the Milky Way, she could completely relax. Therefore, if someone dared to curry favor with her, she would have directly scolded them. But now, she didn't. 2 days ago, she was tidying up her storage ring and found her necklace. She had been carrying this necklace with her all this time. However, when she met Lin Xian, she was told to sell or throw it away. At that time, Yu Shichia didn't care. However, when she found out about Lin Xian's identity and strength, she was shocked. He must have had other intentions. Therefore, they studied it carefully and found a problem with the necklace. It turned out that there was a formation on the necklace. It was a tracking formation that could lock onto her position. She immediately destroyed the necklace and checked everyone's body, as well as the things that everyone was carrying. Although she didn't find the tracking formation, their expressions were obviously not good. Especially Yu Shichia. She knew that she was being followed. Moreover, it was almost a month after she stepped onto the Milky Way that she realized it. Damn it, who was following her? That person must have also boarded the Milky Way. Therefore, she couldn't be careless. Because Yu Shichia's bloodline was very special, many people had ideas about her. Because of this idea of keeping a low profile, she didn't chase this Suryu away. Otherwise, she might have killed him with a slap. Seeing that the beauty didn't reject him, this Suryu was even more proud and began to show off. In the valley, the others were chased away. Get lost. Our Sir is here to admire the flowers. Everyone else, get lost. Many people were forced to retreat. Some of the stronger ones were still able to stay, but they were very far away. The howling moon demon wolf sat at the entrance of the valley, its powerful body suppressing the area. The Yu family was very strong. This time, they had brought many saints, so ordinary people didn't dare to provoke them. The valley in front should be the falling flowers. Lin Xian and the others also walked over. There were many people outside the valley. It seemed that many people were admiring the flowers. However, when they arrived, they found that something was wrong. These people were only outside and didn't dare to go in. Looking carefully, they found that there was a demon wolf at the entrance of the valley. No wonder the others didn't dare to go in. The demon wolf was blocking the entrance. Moreover, it seemed that these people's identities weren't simple. Kid, what should we do? The Crimson Dragon looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "What can we do? We're here to admire the flowers. No one is allowed to stand in our way." Previously, the other party had mocked them. At that time, Lin Xian didn't care. How could a sparrow know the ambitions of a swan? So he didn't care. Now, he didn't expect the other party to be so arrogant. They directly blocked the path and didn't let others admire the flowers. This was unbearable, so Lin Xian and the others strode forward. Chapter 35:57. That brat actually went up. Many people exclaimed. 3 first firmament people. Didn't they know the immensity of heaven and earth? That's right. Not to mention whether they could beat the howling moon demon wolf or not. Even if they could, would they dare to make a move? Reckless. Someone sneered. Of course, there were also people who kindly reminded, the 3 of you must not go over. That's the Yu family. Don't you see that ordinary second firmament saints don't dare to go against them? The 3 of you shouldn't go over and court death. Regarding the discussions of the surrounding people, Lin Xian and the rest did not care at all, walking forward in large strides. Very soon, they arrived at the front of the valley. In front of the valley, the howling moon demon wolf raised its huge head. Looking at Lin Xian and the rest, its eyes filled with deep disdain. 3 ants, scram. It spoke in human language, its voice like thunder. The surrounding people shook their heads and sighed. These 3 people were really too reckless. They already reminded it that that was the young master of the Yu family, and the other party actually still dared to go up. Looks like there should be 3 more corpses. Io, a wolf cub, actually dared to be arrogant in front of Ben Huang. Who gave you the guts? The Crimson Dragon sneered and directly roared. Dragon blood surged, instantly enveloping the Howling Moon Demon Wolf. The Howling Moon Demon Wolf originally wanted to show its might and get rid of the 3 ants. But in the next instant, it was enveloped by this aura, instantly frightened until its entire body turned cold, directly prostrating on the ground. This shocking scene left everyone dumbfounded. What was the situation? The Howling Moon Demon Wolf was actually prostrating on the ground. It shouldn't be. One had to know that this was young Master Yu's mount. Normally, it would not even put second firmament saints in its eyes when it encountered them. It could be said that it was used to flaunting its might. At this moment, why was it prostrating in front of 3 first firmament saints? They had yet to figure it out when they saw Lin Xian walk up and kick the Howling Moon Demon Wolf, sending it flying. The Howling Moon Demon Wolf cried out miserably. Its body was like a shooting star, crashing into the valley. Damn! Everyone sucked in a cold breath. Who was this person? So fierce. Even though the Howling Moon Demon Wolf was not big in size, it was still a rare breed after all. The strength of its body was absolutely terrifying. Ordinary saints of the same level would not be able to break through his defense at all. But now, there was actually someone who could send him flying with a kick. This young man was incredible. Someone sneered. He dared to hit young Master Yu's mount. He was dead meat. Offending the Yu family, he reckoned that he would not be able to walk out of this valley alive. Boom! An earthquake came from the valley. The Howling Moon Demon Wolf crashed into the ground, causing countless cracks to appear on the ground. Miserable cries could be heard, and the valley was in a state of chaos. Clearly, the people in the valley did not expect such a scene. Young Master Yu was also stunned. His mind was blank. What was going on? His mount had been sent flying by someone? Furthermore, he was severely injured. In the next moment, he screamed, "Damn it! Who is it? Who dares to attack my mount? Get over here and accept your death." The others also looked at each other. It seemed like there was going to be a good show to watch. Where did this dog come from? How dare he block our way? A faint voice came from outside the valley. Then, Lin Xian and the other 2 walked over. Damn it, it's you guys. Young Master Yu saw Lin Xian at a glance. His face immediately turned completely gloomy. It was you guys who attacked my mount? His eyes surfaced with a piercing, killing intent. Regarding these 3 people, he still had an impression. Because a few days ago, he had once met these 3 people. At that time, these 3 people were still yearning to become great ancient emperors. He mocked them in disdain. 3 first firmament ants, daydreaming like this. What fools. It was just that he did not expect that today. These 3 people were actually so daring to injure his mount. No matter what, he would not let these 3 people off. The 3 of you kneel down and kowtow to my mount to apologize. I can give you guys an intact corpse. Regarding this kind of threat, Lin Xian did not care in the slightest. You better apologize to me obediently first, then bring your people and get out of this valley. Don't disturb my mood of admiring flowers. Otherwise, your outcome will be very miserable. Threatening me? Young Master Yu was stunned. Everyone in the surroundings was stunned. They had not seen such a scene for many years already. Someone actually dared to threaten young Master Yu. Was he tired of living? Young Master Yu was so angry that he laughed. Good lad, it has been many years since anyone dared to say such words to me. You are the first. I will make you pay a painful price. Men, catch him and break his limbs. I will pull out his tendons and skin him. I will train him to be my second mount. This is the consequence of offending me. Hearing young Master Yu's words, the surrounding people were so frightened that their scalps went numb. This was simply a demon. Yes, young master. 2 sages walked up. One of the sages reached out a large hand and grabbed Lin Xian. His expression was incomparably cold and disdainful. Sigh. I already said that I don't want to attack, but you guys don't know what's good for you. I have no choice. Lin Xian shook his head. He did not attack, but the Crimson Dragon and the North Demon beside him attacked. The crimson dragon slapped out with his claw. Damn you! How dare you attack me? His dragon claw collided with the other party's palm, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard. The laws of heaven and earth were shattered. Screams rang out. The sage's hand was directly shattered. He screamed as he retreated. On the other side, the North Demon also punched and sent the sage who had rushed over flying. In the blink of an eye, 2 of the Yu family's sages were injured. No one dared to believe this scene. Young Master Yu's expression darkened. He was incomparably savage. Damn it, what are you guys doing? Can't you even deal with 3 ants? Just kill them directly. There is no need to hold back. He was winning the heart of the beauty. He had already pretended to be cool. Now, someone actually dared to destroy his noble image. How could he tolerate this? If he couldn't even deal with 2 or 3 ants, what would this masked woman in front of him think of him? Hence, he was furious. The sages under him instantly charged over. 5 sages surrounded Lin Xian and the others. On the other side, Yu Shijie was also shocked. It was him. She also saw Lin Xian. She didn't expect him to also come to admire the flowers. What a coincidence. However, looking at the other party, it seemed like he was in endless trouble. Oh my, you still dare to attack and kill us? The Crimson Dragon laughed coldly. North Demon, the 2 of us don't need to hold back. The 2 of them charged up and stood together with the 5 sages. The battle was extremely intense, but it ended quickly. Sage Wu Zun was beaten up like a dead dog. He fell to the ground and kept screaming. Crimson Shunnong and the North Demon stood in the void and laughed coldly. Everyone went crazy. These 2 saints of the first celestial layer were too strong, right? They could actually fight 2 against 5. They simply couldn't believe it. You guys. Young Master Yu was scared silly. The sages under him were all sent flying. This was simply too unbelievable. How was it possible? Chapter 3558. Soon, he calmed down and sneered. You have some tricks up your sleeve, but so what? I'm from the Yu family. Do you dare to touch me? After he finished speaking, he was enveloped by a large golden hand that grabbed him. Lin Xian grabbed him and sneered. Why? Do you think I don't dare to touch you? I was in a good mood the last time you provoked me and I spared your life. Now you want to kill me. Looks like I have to teach you a lesson on behalf of the Yu family, you good-for-nothing thing. How dare you touch me? Young Master Yu screamed crazily. He had never encountered such a situation before. However, the answer he got was a slap. With a smack, half of his face was smashed into mush. Why wouldn't I dare? Although Lin Xian didn't say anything, he used his actions to prove his point. After the first slap, there was a second and third slap. Crisp slaps were heard. After young Master Yu's face was smashed, it recovered immediately. However, it was smashed again. This scene was too shocking. Everyone was dumbfounded. That was young Master Yu, the young master of the Yu family. He was high and mighty and looked down on everyone. At this moment, he was being held by the neck and slapped crazily. Young master! The surrounding sages screamed again. Their young master was being beaten. They rushed over crazily. However, they were all sent flying by Lin Xian with a slap. Many sages' bodies exploded. Their sage blood danced between heaven and earth. Young Master Yu was dumbfounded. He had hit the nail on the head. The young man in front of him was definitely a heaven-defying genius. Therefore, he quickly begged for mercy. Hero, please spare my life. I was wrong. I'll apologize to you. In the face of death, pride and dignity were all useless. No matter how arrogant young Master Yu was before, he had no choice but to bow to Lin Xian now. Oh, apologize? How are you going to compensate me? Lin Xian stopped. Seeing that he was no longer being beaten, young Master Yu heaved a sigh of relief. He said, I was wrong today. I offended the hero. I'll compensate you. I'll give you 10,000 caddies of divine crystals. How about that? 10,000 caddies? Do you think I'm a beggar? The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. The boarding fee was 10,000 caddies of divinity crystals, which was not enough at all. Then I'll give you 50,000 kilograms. Young Master gritted his teeth. 50,000 was already a lot. Many people were moved. It seemed like young master Yu was really going to beg for mercy. However, Lin Xian waved his hand. 500,000, and I'll spare your life. What 500,000 caddies? Young master Yu screamed. This is robbery. One must know that back when he bought the 3,000 ancestral green gold, he had only spent 50,000 jin. Now that he had 500,000 jin, how many precious metals and materials could he buy? It was definitely enough to make those sages go crazy. Sure enough, the eyes of the surrounding people instantly turned red. They couldn't believe that this kid was asking for too much. What? The dignified Yu family's young master could not even take out 500,000 caddies of divine crystals? What a disappointment. In that case, I can only continue to educate you. With that, Lin Xian raised his golden hand. Seeing this scene, young master Yu was so frightened that he trembled. He was about to cry. He was not willing to be slapped in the face in public again. Moreover, he was unable to resist at all. However, he really wasn't willing to take out 500,000 caddies of divine crystals. Therefore, he cried and said, Hero, I didn't bring so many divine crystals with me when I came out. Why don't you let me go and I'll gather some? He was obviously trying to escape. How could Lin Xian not understand? He said with a smile, You didn't bring so many with you, right? As he said that, he waved his hand. A biting cold sword light accompanied by the law flew out. It directly split the howling moon demon wolf beside him into two halves. The howling moon demon wolf screamed and its body twitched. Its soul was directly destroyed and could not be reborn at all. Everyone was stunned by this scene. What a terrifying method. Young master Yu was so frightened that he wet his pants. He was so frightened that his whole body was trembling. This person in front of him could destroy the howling moon demon wolf's body and soul with one move. He reckoned that killing him was also a matter of a sword. Thinking of this, his eyes were filled with horror and he stuttered. Now, have you brought them all? Lin Xian asked. Yes, I've brought them all. Young master Yu kept nodding. He took off his storage ring and said, There are about 200,000 caddies of divine crystals in it. The rest are some pills, cultivation technique manuals, natural treasures, and so on. They should be worth 200,000 caddies of divine crystals. I'll get my men to gather the remaining 100,000 caddies. As he said that, he turned his head and looked at the 5 sages. The 5 of you, quickly hand over your storage rings. Young master. The 5 of them were obviously unwilling. Damn it, do you want me to die? Young master Yu roared crazily. Sage Wu Zun had no choice but to throw out his storage ring. Young master Yu said, These should be worth 500,000 caddies of divine crystals. Lin Xian threw it to the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon glanced at it and nodded slightly. Lin Xian said, Don't be too arrogant, especially when you're outside. Your family can't protect you, understand? Understood. Young master Yu nodded desperately, but he was gnashing his teeth in anger. Damn it, I've completely lost this time. Lin Xian said again, I'll spare your life this time. But if you dare to provoke me again, I won't hesitate to kill you. I don't care which family you're from. At this point, a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Young master Yu was scared out of his wits. He felt like he was surrounded by a sea of blood. What kind of killing intent is this? Who is this guy? Why is he releasing such a terrifying killing intent? The surrounding people were also trembling, their faces filled with fear. All right, you can get lost now. Lin Xian waved his hand, and young master Yu quickly left with his men. This scene made the people inside and outside the valley gasp. They thought that the 3 first celestial stage cultivators would definitely die after offending young master Yu. Who would have thought that the unlucky one would be young master Yu? Not only was he slapped, but he also had to pay 500,000 caddies of divine crystals. For a moment, everyone was guessing who these 3 people were. Within the crowd, there was a pale man who looked like he was sick. He looked at Lin Xian and smiled coldly. How dare you be so arrogant? Soon, you'll die. Buzz. As if he felt a killing intent, Lin Xian suddenly turned his head and looked behind him. The people behind him were shocked. They didn't retreat. Lin Xian glanced around and frowned. He realized that the killing intent had disappeared. What's wrong? The northern demon asked. Lin Xian said, someone seemed to be staring at me just now, but the gaze was burning. Could it be someone from the Yu family? The crimson dragon asked. Lin Xian shook his head. I'm not sure. He turned his head and looked forward. Fairy Yu, what a coincidence. You're admiring the flowers too. Yu Shirqia nodded. Yes, what a coincidence. I met young master again. I have to thank you. What are you thanking me for? It's nothing. I'm not talking about this. Yu Shirqia shook her head. She didn't care about young master Yu. Chapter 3559. She said, I want to thank you for reminding me about the necklace. Have you discovered the secret of the necklace? Yu Shirqia nodded. She had discovered it, but it was too late. Still, she wanted to thank her. Lin Xian wanted to ask more, but Yu Shirqia didn't seem to be in the mood to admire the flowers. She nodded slightly and left the three of them. After Yu Shirqia left, a man in a black robe in the crowd sneered and disappeared. No one noticed this. On the other side, Lin Xian frowned. It was too late. What did that mean? Could it be that the person who followed Yu Shirqia had already arrived on the Milky Way? He was very confused about this, but he didn't pay much attention to it. Yu Shirqia's status was obviously not ordinary. Even if there was trouble, he didn't need to do anything. Not long after this, an old man walked over. Lin Xian recognized him. He was one of Yu Shirqia's guards. Lin Xian was very surprised by his arrival. The old man's expression was serious as he said in a low voice, Young Master Lin has met my family's young miss several times. Is it intentional, or is it fate? Lin Xian frowned. What did that mean? Did he suspect him? As expected, the crimson dragon snorted. Old man, you don't know the rules. We're the ones who saved your little, big sis, okay? You don't have any gratitude at all. How dare you threaten us? It's not a threat, it's a warning. I hope you can keep a distance from our young miss. This is for your own good. I think you're overthinking. The first time was because of the trip to Blue Moon. The second time was because of the Yun family. The third time, which is this time, is because I'm here to admire the flowers. I'm not here for your Yu family. This is for the best. With that, the old man turned around, tore open the void, and left. Lin Xian frowned slightly, but soon he didn't care. The crimson dragon was very angry. Damn it, good intentions were taken as ill intent. Lin Xian waved his hand. Forget it, it was best to keep a distance. They were probably being watched. Let's not get involved in this mess. Let's take care of the flowers. The jadefall flower was very beautiful and contained a mysterious aura. It could allow Lin Xian and the others to comprehend the great Tao of heaven and earth. Furthermore, after Lin Xian chased young Master Yu away, there were more and more people in the valley. After a few days, Lin Xian left. On the other side, Fairy Rain returned to her palace. Elderly, have you looked for Lin Gongzi? Yes, I warned him to keep his distance from us. Sis, he was too flamboyant and had offended too many people. Although he was Lin Wudi, he was no longer in the first astral realm. The more people he offends, the more attention he will attract. Now that we are being followed, we shouldn't be too conspicuous. Therefore, it was very wise to keep a distance. Yu Shirqia nodded and didn't say anything. Indeed, she had been feeling uneasy for the past few days. She kept feeling as if there was a pair of eyes staring at her. However, even after searching the entire Milky Way, she still couldn't find who the suspicious person was. Until now, she felt that everyone was suspicious. Therefore, she simply shut herself in. After admiring the sky-falling flowers, Lin Xian and the others also went back. After about 10 days or so, it was lively again. It turned out that some people had teamed up to hold a small banquet. Firstly, it was too boring on the Milky Way. Secondly, there was still a year before they reached the second astral realm. Therefore, it was best for everyone to get together and get to know each other. This banquet was held in a huge palace near the Milky Way. Many young prodigies were preparing to go. After all, they were all going to the second astral realm. When they got there, they would be unfamiliar with the place. Naturally, they would have to stick together. Lin Xian and the others naturally went as well. When they arrived, they found that there were quite a lot of people. He looked around and didn't see the masked woman. It seemed that she didn't come. Next, they found a place. The three of them sat down and waited for the banquet to begin. After the banquet began, Lin Xian felt a little bored because these people were flattering each other and forming cliques. There wasn't much that was really valuable. As for the strength of these people, he glanced at them and shook his head slightly. Among the younger generation, he really didn't think highly of anyone. However, among them, there were two people who surprised him. One of them was a man with a pale face who looked like he was sick. When he saw him, the other party turned his head and didn't look at him. He only saw the side of his face and back, which made him feel very strange, because he felt that he had seen him somewhere before, but he couldn't remember where. The other person was a man in a black robe. He sat there very leisurely and calmly, as if he was a king who ruled over everything. He coldly looked at the entire hall. When Lin Xian looked at him, the other party also looked at him with a shocking light in his eyes. This person was not simple. Lin Xian was astonished. Someone who could pique his interest was definitely a genius of a region. However, he didn't know him, and he had never heard of such a person in any of the major sections. The banquet was quite boring. Lin Xian and the others were about to leave, but at this time, someone said loudly, "Everyone, after chatting for so long, why don't I tell you about the second astral realm?" The second astral realm. Hearing this, everyone was interested and walked towards that person. Lin Xian and the others were also stunned. They stopped and sat back down. They originally wanted to leave, but now that there was news about the second astral realm, they might as well stay and listen. The person who spoke was on the Milky Way. He often traveled between the first and second astral realms. Therefore, he knew a little about the second astral realm. Everyone couldn't wait to ask, which sects are the most powerful in the second week? Your question is too broad. The second astral realm is very vast. If you want to ask about the most powerful sects, I really don't know. Actually, I only know a rough idea. Let me tell you this. The most powerful sects in the second astral realm are those who are famous. For example, Peerless City, which is preparing to accept disciples this time, is one of the most famous sections. They have a saint throne. Generally, the top saint cities are like this. One level lower is the Saint Venerable. Although they are not as powerful as the Saint King, they are still extremely terrifying. Saint King and Saint Venerable. Everyone gasped. To them, these were legendary figures. They were like immortals. Then, which sects are the more famous geniuses in the second astral realm? Someone asked again. As soon as this was said, everyone was interested again. Well, I do know a little about this. Listen carefully. The man cleared his throat and looked at the excited and worshipful eyes of the crowd. This feeling of being the center of attention was simply too satisfying. He said that the more famous sect was the Rain Clan. Chapter 3560. The Rain Clan was extremely powerful. They occupied 2-star realms. In the Rain Clan, the most famous geniuses were their princess and young master. The princess of the Rain Clan, Yushurchia, was incomparably beautiful and charming. Moreover, her bloodline was very special. It was the most famous 10,000 spirit bloodline in the Rain Clan. The Rain Clan's bloodline was originally very special. Water nourished all living things. Therefore, if one married a member of the Rain Clan and cultivated for a long time, it would have a great effect on one's strength. Therefore, in the Rain Clan, regardless of gender, they were very popular. Especially the disciples of other large clans and sects, they wished they could marry a beauty or a genius of the Rain Clan. Yushurchia's 10,000 spirit bloodline was the most powerful one among them. Therefore, the number of people who pursued her could probably circle the planet 3 times. She also had a younger brother who was even more extraordinary. His name was Yuchinya. He was not old, but his strength was extremely strong. He was already a 3rd heavenly layer saint. The man roughly explained the situation of the Rain Clan. Hearing this, the people in the main hall were dumbfounded. Were the women of the Rain Clan so mysterious? When they married, they could actually improve themselves and even change their level of life and bloodline. No, wait until I reach the second astral realm. I must find a way to marry a beauty of the Rain Clan. The effect of ordinary Rain Clan disciples would definitely be weak. Only extremely talented people would have a significant effect. For example, the legendary Yushurchia. If I could get her, many people laughed. Idiot. The man in the black robe who looked down on the main hall sneered. Others also said that such a person should not think about it. Unless one was a peerless genius, it would be impossible to get her. As expected, the man who introduced them laughed. You guys don't have any ideas about Yushurchia. The experts of the second astral realm are all watching. You guys should cultivate for a few hundred years first. Many people were silent. However, there were also people who refuted. Were the people of the second astral realm really so powerful? Yes, they were indeed very powerful. The second astral realm was divided into two types of people. The first type was the native clans and sects of the second astral realm. Think about it, they all have Saint Venerables and Saint Kings. Their inheritance and foundation is not something we can compare to. When these words were spoken, the others also agreed. After all, a small saint had appeared in their astral realm. Saint Venerables were more powerful than small saints, let alone Saint Kings. The second kind of people are geniuses who have stepped onto the ancient path of the starry sky. They're rushing from the first star realm to the second star realm, just like you. Although they might not be able to show their talents immediately, they would definitely be able to make a name for themselves in the second astral realm as long as they had the strength and talent to do so. For example, there is a person that you are very familiar with. He has already made a name for himself in the second astral realm. Is it someone from our first astral realm? Many people asked. That person smiled. That's right, that was indeed the case. Who was it? The crowd was puzzled. Yin Nantion? Lin Wudi? This was a person whose name resounded throughout the first star realm. However, when they thought about it, it was impossible. The two of them had probably never been to the second astral realm. Who was that? They were extremely puzzled. Dealing. You should be familiar with this person. What? Dealing. Everyone exclaimed. How could they not know this person? This was the first person on the Abyss rankings. Until now, he was still number one. That's right. Lin Wudi was so powerful. Back then, he was only tied with him for first place. Moreover, Lin Wudi was a latecomer. This Dealing, who knew how many years he had cultivated earlier than him. Now that Lin Wudi was already so powerful, that Dealing was probably even more terrifying. Was he already so famous in the second astral realm? That's right, Dealing was very famous. Previously, I told you about Yushurchia. You should all know about her, right? In the second astral realm, it was rumored that among the younger generation, only Dealing was worthy of Yushurchia. Was he so powerful? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. At the same time, they were extremely excited. They had to go to the second astral realm and make a name for themselves. After Lin Xian heard this, he was also surprised. Although he had never seen Dealing before, he had always heard of his legend. Indeed, when he had just stepped onto the ancient path of the starry sky, the other party had already resounded throughout the star realm. At that time, the other party was ranked number one on the Abyss rankings. It could be said that the top of his head surpassed everything. He and Yin Nantion only started to make a name for themselves later on. And at that time, it was likely that Dealing had already left this place and went to the second astral realm. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. It seemed that he would be able to meet this legendary Dealing for a while in the second astral realm. What perfect match. It was just nonsense. Right at this moment, a cold snort sounded. Who was it? Everyone cried out in surprise. Could it be that someone else knew the news? The man on the Milky Way also frowned. He also sneered. Who was there to refute? Could it be that what I said was wrong? Everyone in the second astral realm knew about this matter. No, my ass. Dealing was powerful, but it was too early to say that he wanted to get Yushurchia just based on this. Moreover, how much could the crew on the Milky Way know? These were just some of the most basic rumors. This time, everyone finally heard clearly where this voice came from. They turned their heads and saw a man in a black robe sitting there, looking at them with a cold and arrogant face. Hearing this, the man on the Milky Way was provoked. He snorted coldly. You dare to question my words? He stood up, his body emitting a powerful aura. However, the man in the black robe sneered. I advise you not to fight with me. Otherwise, you will die very miserably. There was a terrifying killing intent between heaven and earth that swept out. Moreover, the man on the Milky Way instantly retreated, his face pale. In that instant, he felt like he was about to die. The other party was very strong and could even kill him instantly. Thinking of this, he didn't dare to stay here any longer. Instead, he muttered, "What bad luck." As he said that, he turned around and left as if he was running away. Hey, don't go. Tell me more about the second astral realm. The surrounding people shouted, but the other party seemed to be determined to leave. They had no choice. They sighed and looked to the other side. They discovered that at some point, the man in the black robe had also disappeared. They were just getting excited from listening, but they didn't expect him to stop talking. That's right, other than the Rain Clan and D-Ling. Who else was so powerful? Forget it. Let's not talk about the second astral realm. Let's talk about our first astral realm. Everyone, let's talk about how many people from our first astral realm can make a name for themselves in the second astral realm this time. As soon as these words were said, everyone became interested. This was indeed something worth discussing. Chapter 3561. It's hard to say. It depends on one's luck. But I feel that there are a few people who can do it. For example, Lin Wudy. With his strength and talent, he would definitely be able to do well in the second astral realm. Perhaps, just like D-Ling, he would once again make a name for himself. The pitiful 6 sects were forced to seal their mountains for 500 years because they went against Lin Wudy. Otherwise, if the geniuses of the 6 sects went there, they would have a great chance of rising up. Yes, that was a place one had to pass through on the ancient path. It was a pity that they couldn't go there now. Speaking of Lin Wudy, they had to talk about the 6 sections. Everyone was talking about it. Lin Xian listened from the side, his eyes shining. At this moment, another voice snorted. What Lin Wudy? T. He had only used tricks and schemes. If it was a head-on battle, how could he win against the 6 sects? Not to mention the 6 sects, any one of the elites from the 6 sects could kill him. F***ck. Who was this? How dare he say such things? The surrounding people gasped. They didn't expect that someone would dare to slander Lin Wudy and speak up for the 6 sections. Did he want to die? Instantly, someone laughed coldly. Who was spouting nonsense there? Didn't he know that the 6 sects had sealed their mountains? That's right. If the 6 sects were so powerful, why would they be forced to seal their mountains? Speaking of which mountain did he come from? Don't tell me he didn't know about this? There were no more 6 sects now. Damn it, you're talking nonsense. A person roared and stood up abruptly. A powerful flame aura surged out of his body and engulfed the entire hall. Damn it, you dare to attack us? The others were also angry and turned their heads to look. They saw a pale man who looked like he was sick standing there. His eyes were burning and the flames on his body kept jumping. He had a strong and terrifying aura. Those people also saw the pale man. Then, they were puzzled. Who was this person? He looked unfamiliar. Immediately, someone sneered. Do you dare to say that we're wrong? Who in the younger generation can go against Lin Wudy? Lin Wudy was indeed strong, but he wasn't truly invincible. Moreover, he walked the path of the great emperor. It wasn't just the younger generation. He wanted to compete with everyone. Although he was strong now, it did not mean that he could survive forever. The pale-faced man's voice was ice-cold. It seemed that this person was not convinced by Lin Wudy. Everyone was talking about it, and even Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He had noticed this person before, and he felt that the other party's aura was extraordinary. He didn't expect the other party to say such words at this moment. After saying so much, how is your own strength? Come out and fight if you have the ability. The Crimson Dragon jumped out. He would not allow anyone to speak ill of Lin Xian behind his back. You? The pale-faced man stared at the Crimson Dragon and sneered. You're no match for me. Let him do it himself. As he spoke, he looked at Lin Xian. Lin Wudy, you are already here. Are you proud to hear so many people talking about you? I will personally teach you how to take off your head later. I will show these people that the legendary invincible Lin is not that great after all. What? That person is Lin Wuti. Everyone was in an uproar, and they all turned to look at Lin Xian. There were legends about Lin Xian in all the worlds, but not everyone had seen him before. Hence, everyone was shocked when they heard the news. Lin Wuti was on the same boat as them, and he was sitting right beside them. That was too shocking, wasn't it? That's right, I am the invincible Lin you were talking about. Lin Xian stood up and looked at the other party. Are you sure you want to fight me? That's right, not only am I going to fight you, but I will also kill you personally. Today is the day you die. Terrifying flames appeared on the pale-faced man's body, and they shot up into the sky. The entire space was completely distorted. Everyone felt the destructive power, and they frantically retreated. A look of shock appeared in their eyes. What a terrifying aura. What was up with this person's power? They were really shocked. This person looked very young, but the Tao of heaven and earth was unparalleled. It was beyond their knowledge. Could it be that he was a level 3 sage? They sucked in a breath of cold air. Was there a young person in the first astral realm who had reached level 3? That was unbelievable. One had to know that there had been level 3 sages in the past, such as Lei Qianzhong, but that was someone from the second astral realm, or even the celestial city. Now, there was a level 3 sage on the Milky Way, and he wanted to kill Lin Wuti. Lin Xian also frowned. What a terrifying Tao of heaven and earth. Why did the aura of the flames feel so familiar? But at that moment, he really couldn't remember who it was. But he still said, "Since you want to fight, let's fight." Golden light appeared on his body, and the 9-yang divine body bloomed, making him look like a god of war. Buzz. The pale-faced man didn't say anything. He waved his hand, and endless flames condensed into a vermilion bird, which quickly flew over and engulfed the entire world. Everyone retreated in fear. The sages were all pushed far away, and their faces were filled with fear. Lin Xian's pupils shrank to the size of needles. Vermilion Bird Divine Fist. You're from the Vermilion Bird Palace. He finally understood what that familiar aura was. It was the aura of the Vermilion Bird's flames. Buzz. He quickly dodged, and at the same time, he raised his hand and slapped out a blue stone tablet. It was completely formed by waves, and it directly suppressed the Vermilion Bird. Boom, boom, boom. The two roared, and the sky and earth cracked. The Vermilion Bird roared at the sky, and the blue stone tablet was sent flying. Then, it looked down at Lin Xian from above. Lin Wuti, you're just Oso. Today, you'll die. How terrifying. He could actually break Lin Wuti's attack. The people in the distance were shocked. Even the Crimson Dragon and the Northern Demon were shocked. Who was this person? Kid, do you have a clue? Lin Xian shook his head. The Vermilion Bird Palace's people were very strong, and their Tao was terrifying. He didn't seem like the younger generation. The most powerful person in the younger generation was Yin Nantian, but he was already killed. There was also the Vermilion Bird Holy Sun, who was not enough. But now, the young man in front of him had obviously surpassed the Vermilion Bird Holy Sun, and even Yin Nantian. Not to mention that, even Lei Qianzhong probably couldn't compare to this person in front of him. Did the Vermilion Bird Palace really have such a powerful younger generation? If they did, how could they have fallen to such a state? Kid, don't think about it. You'll never guess who I am. Just obediently accept your death. As he spoke, the flames on that person's body were incomparable. They turned into 4 vermilion bird phantoms and circled again. The 4 vermilion birds stood in 4 different directions and locked down the space around Lin Xian, sealing the space around him. Vermilion Bird Divine Formation, burn for me. Chapter 3562. This was a terrifying ability that could burn everything in the world. A level 3 cultivator would definitely die inside, and it could even threaten a level 4 cultivator. Boom. Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless. With a roar, sword chi surged, and the great destruction spear danced, breaking through the void. However, the 4 vermilion bird phantoms locked onto him, as if they really wanted to burn him to ashes. Terrifying flames wrapped around his divine body, and for a moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Xian pushed his power, striking out with the five elements law. The terrifying sword of law, together with the great destruction spear, broke the four vermilion birds. Lin Xian charged out, extremely powerful. At this moment, the entire hall had collapsed, and the surrounding people had all left. Who dared to make a move on the Milky Way? On the Milky Way ship, the law enforcement team quickly flew over. They came with a powerful array to suppress the situation. Although the Milky Way ship was huge, it couldn't withstand the crazy attacks of the Saints, so fighting was not allowed on the ship. Now that someone dared to break their rules, they would not hesitate to kill him. I didn't want to make a move, but someone wants my life. Lin Xian stood in the void and said coldly. On the other side, the pale-faced man sneered. 2 balls of flames appeared in his eyes. Then, 81 balls of flames appeared. They twisted in the air, forming an array that directly wrapped him and Lin Xian. The next moment, the void was torn apart. The 2 of them disappeared without a trace. Damn it, what happened? The Crimson Dragon roared, and the Northern Devil's face was cold as he stared at the people on the Milky Way ship. The law enforcement team frowned and snorted coldly. It wasn't us, it was that pale-faced man. That should be a teleportation array. They had probably left the Milky Way ship. What? They left the Milky Way ship. The Crimson Dragon and the Northern Devil's faces became incomparably ugly, and the surrounding people were also shocked. They looked around, and sure enough, someone exclaimed, "Look outside." These saints' eyes flashed across the sky like lightning, and they saw that outside the Milky Way ship, in the chaotic star sea, there were 2 more figures. It was Lin Xian and the pale-faced man. At this moment, the 2 of them were already fighting, and monstrous waves were stirred up in all directions. Damn it, stop! The Crimson Dragon roared. The people on the Milky Way said coldly, "Stop the ship? What a joke. That was impossible. Since that kid had already left, there was no possibility of him coming back. The 2 of you should accept your fate. Don't look for trouble. Otherwise, we will directly teleport you out. Damn it, Bin Huang will fight it out with you." The Crimson Dragon roared and wanted to attack. However, he was stopped by the North Demon. Don't get too excited. Believe in Lin Xian. He will definitely be fine. We will wait for him here. He would definitely come back. Him hearing this, the Crimson Dragon gradually calmed down. He began to arrange an array formation, ready to help Lin Xian. On the other side, Lin Xian was wrapped in 81 flames and was brought out of the Milky Way to the outside of the scattered star sea. Damn it, how dare you bring me out? Don't you want to go to the Earth 2-star realm? Lin Xian asked coldly. The pale-faced man laughed wildly. The 2nd-star realm? I have no interest in that. My target has always been you. The reason I boarded the Milky Way was to kill you. Damn kid, how dare you make me lose so many disciples? I will definitely not let you go. As his voice fell, the pale-faced man's aura erupted again, and he directly reached the 4th heaven, the Sage Realm. Terrifying fire laws swept through the world, and the sea and the scattered star sea turned into a sea of fire. 4th heaven, who exactly are you? Lin Xian asked coldly. Kid, I will let you die with a clear understanding. The pale-faced young man shouted coldly, and his face began to change. He gradually grew older, and finally turned into the face of a middle-aged man. When he saw this face, Lin Xian was stunned. This face was very familiar to him. It's you, the Vermilion Bird Palace Master. He really did not expect that the other party was the Vermilion Bird Palace Master. But this was impossible. Wasn't he killed in Vermilion Saint Town? How could he still be alive? He did not doubt the power of the Saint Slayer Palace. After that battle, he was sure that no one survived. At this time, Black Mountain said telepathically, the Vermilion Bird Palace Master should have cultivated the Vermilion Bird Super Technique. The Vermilion Bird and the Phoenix are related, so they should have some rebirth techniques. The Palace Master of the Vermilion Bird Palace must have used this kind of rebirth technique to survive and preserve his life. If I remember correctly, he should have been a 5th heaven sage. Now that he has been reborn, his cultivation has dropped by 2 heavens. Now that he is at the 4th heaven, he should have activated a secret technique and cannot maintain it for long. So that's how it is. Lin Xian understood, and then he laughed coldly. I didn't expect you to have such a rebirth technique. If you had obediently returned, you might have been able to keep your life. But you don't know what's good for you, and you dare to kill me? You actually know. The Vermilion Bird Palace Master was stunned. He didn't know a rebirth technique. That day, he was killed by the Saint Slayer formation. Before he died, he activated a secret technique and turned into a vermilion bird stone. In the end, he survived. Later, he broke out of the vermilion bird stone, and his cultivation dropped by 2 heavens. Under normal circumstances, he would not be able to recover without 1 or 2,000 years. This price could be said to be very painful. But in order to kill the other party, he could not care less. Now that he had used a secret technique to raise his cultivation to the 4th heaven, he did not believe that the other party could still survive. Brat, without that formation, let's see what you have to fight me. The Vermilion Bird Palace Master waved his hand, and 9 vermilion bird divine feathers appeared in the air. Each one was like a peerless divine sword, emitting a terrifying light. If you had continued to hide your identity, I might have let you live a little longer. But now that your identity has been exposed, there is no need for me to let you live. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to keep you alive. I'll kill you today. Lin Xian did not waste any time and took out the Great Sage Tower. He did not want to waste time with the other party, because he still had to return to the Milky Way. The longer he delayed, the more danger he would be in. After all, a few days ago, he had seen the apocalyptic octopus appear nearby. If he encountered such an existence, there was no way he could escape. So after taking out the Great Sage Tower, he opened it, and the astral fire inside was activated. Do you really think that I don't have any tricks up my sleeve? Damn it, how could you still have that kind of flame? The Vermilion Bird Palace Master's expression changed instantly. The smugness and arrogance from before were completely gone, replaced by fear. How could he forget that flame? Previously, it was this flame that was used in conjunction with a peerless formation to completely destroy the 6 major sections. But at that time, he guessed that the other party would not have that kind of flame anymore. He did not expect that the other party would still have some in his hands. Chapter 3563. At this moment, the Vermilion Bird Palace Master was very decisive. He controlled the 9 vermilion bird divine feathers and quickly escaped. Previously, his confidence in himself was based on his absolute cultivation and strength, but Lin Xian's trump card was beyond his expectations. He didn't dare to fight against him. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a monstrous starry flame flew out. The Vermilion Bird Palace Master screamed. The 9 vermilion bird divine feathers formed a sword formation to block, while his main body fled crazily. Boom! Lin Xian used the Kuan Pong movement technique and quickly chased after the Vermilion Bird Palace Master. He attacked again, and the starry flame wrapped around the Vermilion Bird Palace Master. Damn it, get lost! The Vermilion Bird Palace Master screamed. He stretched out his palms, and 2 vermilion birds roared. But they were still burned. He was burned miserably by the starry flame. Damn brat, if you have the ability, don't use flames. Fight me one-on-one. He screamed crazily. Are you out of your mind? Why are you saying such things? Lin Xian sneered. The other party had lived for nearly 3,000 years. How could he fight a person who was not even 100 years old? What a joke. He wasn't that stupid. Soon, the Vermilion Bird Palace Master couldn't resist at all and was completely burned to ashes by the starry flame. This time, Lin Xian attacked again with a dragon-shaped sword chi, and the Vermilion Bird Palace Master's ashes were cut into pieces, making it impossible for him to be reborn. After killing the Vermilion Bird Princess, Lin Xian returned and sealed the 9 vermilion bird divine feathers. Then, he turned into a light sword and quickly shuttled through the chaotic star sea. He had to return to the Milky Way as soon as possible. The Milky Way. Those people had already dispersed. They knew that even Lin Wudi wouldn't be able to survive after falling into the chaotic star sea. Many people sighed. Was Lin Wudi going to die like this? It was really surprising. The North Demon and Crimson Dragon were extremely anxious. Time passed slowly, and the Milky Way's speed was extremely fast. They were indeed not confident, but at this moment, they suddenly saw a stream of light flying over from afar. It's here. It's finally here. The Crimson Dragon was overjoyed. The Northern Goblin also heaved a sigh of relief. Everyone else also looked over. Heavens, he was actually still alive. How could he? Everyone was surprised. Had Lin Wudy already defeated his opponent? That was a saint of the fourth heaven. Not necessarily. It was possible that Lin Wudy had escaped. It was rumored that his movement technique was very powerful. Perhaps he could escape from the chaotic star sea. Only then could everyone accept this explanation. Otherwise, it would be too heaven-defying for a first celestial layer to kill a fourth celestial layer sage so easily in such a short time. They simply could not accept it. Damn it. Hurry up and activate the formation. The North Demon roared because Lin Xian had already arrived beside the Milky Way. However, the Milky Way did not seem to have activated its array formation. The Crimson Dragon roared. Damn it. Where is the law enforcement team? Don't play dead. A law enforcement team rushed over. Looking at the surrounding scene, their expressions were cold. They couldn't activate the formation for you. We're about to reach the death fog area. We can't take that risk. What? Fog of death. Everyone was shocked. It was rumored that even small saints couldn't survive in that area. Thinking of this, their faces were filled with fear. At the same time, they looked at Lin Wudy, who was outside the formation. No matter how strong Lin Wudy was, he couldn't escape from the death fog area. If he couldn't board the ship now, he would probably die. Damn it, since you know that it's the death fog in front, hurry up and activate the formation. The Crimson Dragon roared angrily. They were angry. That was the extremely terrifying death fog area in the legends. No matter how powerful Lin Xian was, they weren't confident in their hearts. Therefore, the two of them wanted to fight. The law enforcement team snorted coldly. Hee hee, how dare you fight with us? Believe it or not, we'll chase you two out too. Many experts and saints appeared around them. Each of them looked like they were facing a great enemy. Outside, Lin Xian saw this scene. Although he didn't know what the other party was talking about, he knew that there should be a conflict. It seemed that the other party was unwilling to activate the formation. Thinking of this, a hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. He directly shot out a starry sky flame, burning a hole in the formation in front of him. With a swoosh, he rushed in through the crack. Boom! The entire Milky Way let out a sharp roar. Everyone was alarmed. What happened? They were terrified. As for the law enforcement team, their faces changed drastically. Not good. The formation was broken. Their eyes were like rainbows as they looked into the distance. Lin Xian, who was outside the formation, had already entered, and there was a huge crack in the formation. Damn it! He actually broke the formation. How is this possible? These people were angry, but then they became terrified. Their formation was so powerful. But the other party could actually break it in an instant. What kind of method is that? They didn't know. Just as they were in a daze, Lin Xian had already arrived nearby. Kid, you're back. That's great. The Crimson Dragon heaved a sigh of relief. They came at the right time. After a while, I heard that the death mist will appear. We wanted to fight them to the death just now. Death fog. Lin Xian was stunned. Then, his face darkened. That was really close. He was almost killed by the other party. He said it. But you still didn't repair it. Do you want everyone to be buried in the death fog? The law enforcement team's faces changed drastically. At the same time, the elders and formation masters on the Milky Way came out and began to repair the formation. Fortunately, it was only a crack, and the loss wasn't great. Moreover, the formation that defended against the death fog wasn't the one that Lin Xian destroyed, so there was no need to worry too much. Soon, the formation was repaired, and the seawater that poured in was all disposed of. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, the law enforcement team surrounded Lin Xian. Damn it! You actually dared to destroy our formation. Do you really think we won't dare to punish you? Sorry, the situation is urgent. I heard that the death fog is in front, so I have to keep it a secret. So, I used some tricks. I can pay the boarding fee again. Of course, if you insist on killing me, I'm afraid I won't let you kill me so easily. Since I can destroy your formation once, I can destroy it a second time. By then, the Milky Way's formation will be completely destroyed, and it will be impossible to pass through the death fog. How dare you threaten us? The law enforcement team roared angrily. All right, this matter ends here. If you pay another 10,000 kilograms of divine crystals, this matter will be forgotten. However, if you dare to break the rules of the Milky Way next time, we will immediately expel you. The higher-ups of the Milky Way gave the order. The law enforcement team was unwilling, but there was nothing they could do. Next, the storm finally subsided. Everyone was shocked by Lin Wudi's strength. He didn't even put the Milky Way in his eyes. He was really arrogant. Of course, they all knew that Lin Xian should have the capital to be arrogant. Otherwise, the Milky Way wouldn't compromise. Chapter 3564. Soon, everyone's gazes and thoughts were diverted by other things. That was the fog of death. They finally saw the legendary Forbidden Land of Death. Outside the surrounding array formation, there was another layer of hazy aura. That was the strongest defense formed by the wonton clay combined with the array formation. The fog of death. From this moment on, a trace of gray fog had appeared around them. The further they went, the thicker the gray fog. In the end, they could not see anything clearly. Everyone knew that this was the fog of death. Once they left the island, even a small saint would die instantly outside. There was nothing to see in the fog of death. Although they were separated by the array formation, everyone could feel the cold aura. The entire Milky Way seemed to have become silent. Everyone stopped making noise and stopped comprehending. They returned to their respective pavilions and waited silently. They waited for the Milky Way to leave the fog of death. However, the good times did not last long. 10 days later, the Milky Way suddenly shook violently. It was as if the ship was about to capsize. This scene frightened everyone, and they all walked out of the palace. Their faces were filled with fear. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that they were attacked again? Could it be that a world-destroying monster was attacking them again? Some people guessed that because they had encountered the world-destroying octopus before, perhaps this time was similar. Impossible. They had already entered the fog of death. What kind of monster could travel through the fog of death? If there was such an existence, they would die without a doubt. Everyone discussed animatedly. They were very frightened. Even the elders on the Milky Way were stunned. Damn it, what was going on? They controlled the array formation and looked in all directions. Suddenly, there was another violent tremor. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. The Milky Way was almost overturned by someone. Boundless waves swept across, and the surrounding fog of death danced. This time, everyone could finally see it clearly. A beam of light that reached the heavens fiercely slammed into their array formation. Attack. Someone was definitely attacking them. As for whether it was a human or a monster, they did not know. It's over. Damn it. How could this be? Screams rang out one after another. Lin Xian and the others also came out. Looking at the scene around them, their faces were incomparably solemn. On the other side, Yu Shijie and the others also had serious expressions. How could they encounter such a thing again? This trip was really not going well. First, it was the apocalyptic octopus. Now, it was this kind of attack. He really didn't know if he could reach there safely. Haha, Yu Shijie, do you think you can return safely? What a joke. A cold voice sounded in the surroundings. Yu Shijie's expression changed. The guards around her looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Who was it? Come out. Oh no, it's targeting them. Yu Shijie's face was extremely pale. Damn it. Was it the person who was tracking him? The other party was right beside them, but they couldn't find him at all. For a moment, they felt as if they were facing a great enemy. At this moment, the old saint of the third heaven roared, "Hurry up and contact the Milky Way so that they can leave as soon as possible." Soon, they contacted the elders of the Milky Way and asked them to speed up. However, the Milky Way's elder's expression was extremely ugly. He said, "Fairy rain. It's not that we don't want to help you, but we can't move forward at all. He couldn't move forward. What was going on? Everyone, look. The elder controlled the array formation and pointed. In front of them, in the fog of death, there were two huge black shadows. Upon closer inspection, they found that they were actually two islands. The two huge islands were like them. They were surrounded by arrays and emitted a terrifying light. Fog ship. It was actually a fog ship, and there were two of them. Yushirchia and the others were extremely shocked. These two fog ships directly blocked their way. Damn it! Which world's fog ship was this? Why were they blocking their way? The people of the Milky Way roared crazily. They could only turn around now. As they spoke, they began to control the Milky Way. The huge island slowly rotated and turned around. However, at this moment, a few more hums sounded, causing them to shake non-stop. Immediately after, a few more fog ships appeared around them, completely surrounding them. Outside, Lin Xian and the others stood on the island and saw the surrounding scene. When they saw that there were many similar fog ships around them, they were completely stunned. What was going on? They were being besieged. Impossible. Who would dare to attack the Milky Way? Behind the Milky Way was a sect from the second astral realm. Were they trying to become enemies with the second astral realm? Yes, the Milky Way had joined the Fog Alliance. All fog ships had to abide by the rules and help each other. Once they encountered an enemy, they would immediately join forces. Who would dare to go against such an alliance? Everyone screamed crazily. Basically, no one dared to attack the fog ships. But now, they were actually being stopped. Look, what was that symbol? Someone exclaimed. They saw that the fog ships around them were getting closer and closer. Finally, they could see the scene on the other side clearly. The most eye-catching thing was that on the other side's island, there was a black flag. It was black and looked like a pagoda. And on that flag, there was a picture of a demon baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. That was the people of the demon planet. The people on the Milky Way screamed. It was actually the demon planet. Demon planet. Yushirchia and the others were also shocked. A hint of fear appeared in their eyes. The surrounding people were puzzled. What kind of force was this demon planet? Could it make the Milky Way so afraid? The demon planet was also a world of stars, but it was a very special world. Originally, the demon planet was a place of exile. Some martial artists who were expelled from their sects and families were exiled to the demon planet. But gradually, it became a place where all kinds of bandits, killing gods, ruthless people, and strong people gathered. Those notorious characters would all live here, and they had joined hands to create a fiend star. It was a world of evil. Inside, all kinds of killing and darkness coexisted. Ordinary people probably couldn't even survive a day there. Moreover, the demon planet often robbed other fog ships in the chaotic star ocean. I didn't expect to encounter it this time. What? It was actually such a thing. After everyone heard that, they understood. Robbery. Wasn't this a bandit? It was just that they had never encountered such a powerful bandit before. It's over. What should we do? Run away? The people on the island discussed spiritedly. Run my ass. Can you block the fog of death after you go out? But if we don't run away, what can we do? We can't beat these demons. There were whales. Boy, what should we do? The Crimson Dragon asked. Lin Xian also frowned. They didn't expect to encounter such a thing. They would wait and see the reaction of the Milky Way first. The three of them temporarily settled down and looked around cautiously. At the same time, a loud voice came from the fog of death in the distance. Chapter 3565. People on the Milky Way, listen up. Give up resistance and let us go up. We might be able to give you a chance to live. If you dare to resist, we will kill you without mercy. We will sink you completely and let you all die in the fog of death. Damn it, this was really a group of demons. The people on the island felt their scalps go numb. The elders and law enforcement team of the Milky Way also rushed out crazily. They looked at the fog ships around them and roared crazily. Damn it, how dare you attack the Milky Way? Do you know the power behind the Milky Way? So what? To be honest, we didn't want to attack you. It was too troublesome. Unfortunately, the Milky Way was unlucky. It was carrying the person we wanted. Now obediently hand over that person. Perhaps there is still room for negotiation if you hand her over. The person we wanted? When everyone heard this, they were shocked. Could it be that the people from the Fiend Planet were here to capture a person? Who was it? Who could make the Fiend Planet mobilize so many people? Ushurtia, come out obediently and surrender, or continue to hide in the Milky Way and let these people die with you. A cold voice came and resounded in all directions. When the people around heard this, they were stunned. What? Ushurtia. They sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't know who Ushurtia was before, but at the banquet last time, someone had personally explained some things to them about the second astral realm. Ushurtia was a little princess of the Rain Clan. The Rain Clan was a big family in the second astral realm. It could be said that Ushurtia's status far exceeded theirs. Was such a prodigy really on the Milky Way? Was she with them? But how come they didn't know this at all? Who was Ushurtia? Was she really here with them? Could the people from the Fiend Planet have made a mistake? All kinds of rumors spread. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. Ushurtia? Rain Fairy? In an instant, he thought of the masked woman. He had felt that the masked woman's identity was not ordinary. He could immediately confirm that Rain Fairy should be Ushurtia. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. It seemed that the other party was indeed being targeted. The necklace that possessed the tracking technique was probably set up by the people of the malevolent planet. Sure enough, after the people on Ushurtia's side heard this, their expressions became ugly to the extreme. Sis, what should we do? Everyone looked at Ushurtia. Even the people on the Milky Way did not know what to do. Ushurtia's expression was extremely ugly. She looked at the people on the Milky Way and said in a low voice, was there a possibility of breaking through? She understood the Fiend Star very well. It was really a group of fiends, so she must not fall into the hands of those people. Otherwise, his fate would be worse than death. All right, let's try to break through. The Elder of the Milky Way took a deep breath and controlled the array formation. On the Milky Way, an incomparable light bloomed and turned into a stream of light, wanting to break out of the siege. The people from the Fiend Planet sneered. You still want to break through? Acting recklessly, the surrounding islands emitted a terrifying light, forming pillars of light that directly bombarded the Milky Way. The Milky Way trembled violently. The array formation was directly torn apart. Countless cracks even appeared on the ground of the island. On the island, everyone was in a mess. They all opened their sacred realms, their faces full of fear. The array formation was broken. In an instant, they felt a cold aura coming from the surroundings. It was the aura of the fog of death. They were so scared that they all huddled together, not daring to move at all. If they fell into the chaotic star sea outside, they would definitely be instantly killed by the fog of death. Not good. The elders of the Milky Way also had extremely ugly expressions. Their eyes were filled with deep shock. In an instant, their array formation had been destroyed by others. There was no other way. The difference was too great. The other party had at least 5 fog ships, and they only had 1 ship. How could they fight? Fairy, we've tried our best. You'd better hurry up and escape. There's some chaos soil here. Ushurtia took the wonton soil to make the battle armor. Then, she took a deep breath. Let's go. They walked out. At the same time, figures appeared on the surrounding fog ships. Their bodies were flickering with light. They were connected to the array formation. At this moment, they had passed through the crack and arrived on the Milky Way. They were like gods and demons, looking down below. Everyone, listen up. Don't move or resist. Otherwise, we'll completely sink you and let you die in the fog of death. If you cooperate obediently, we might give you a chance to live. Hearing this, the saints who had wanted to resist all fell silent. They did not want to die. Therefore, everyone stayed where they were and did not move. At this moment, a few figures flew out from the Milky Way. It was Ushurtia. You're finally out. The surrounding experts on the Fiend Planet looked ahead and sneered. The others also turned their heads, wanting to see who the legendary Ushurtia was. Lin Xian and the others also turned their heads. In the next moment, they closed their eyes. Sure enough, their guess was right. It was the masked woman and her group. The masked woman and the others stood in the void and said coldly, "Fiend Planet, you dare to capture me? Aren't you afraid of the Rain Clan's revenge? Besides, I don't have any grudges with the Fiend Planet." Grudges? We don't have any, but who told you to have a special bloodline? Our fiend child has taken a fancy to you. So obediently come back with us and enjoy glory and wealth from now on. The others would also be able to live. If you dare resist, I can guarantee that you will die miserably. Don't think about escaping. You can't escape. Damn it. Yu Shichia's face was gloomy. As expected, these people were after her bloodline power. The surrounding guardians also had grave expressions on their faces. Sis, let's prepare to break through the encirclement. They knew that they could not fall into the hands of these demons. Otherwise, they would never be able to see the light of day. Therefore, in the next moment, these people let out low cries and rushed into the sky. They ran away? How was that possible? How could Yu Shichia and the others escape? The surrounding people were stunned. Without the protection of the array, how could these people block the fog of death? However, in the next moment, they were stunned because they discovered that Yu Shichia and the others did not die. Instead, they had entered the fog of death and disappeared. What was going on? These people were stunned. Didn't they say that the fog of death was very terrifying? Humph. The people on the Fiend Planet sneered. Battle armor formed by the chaotic earth. No wonder they dared to escape. However, could they escape? Chase them. These people quickly rose into the sky. Their bodies were wrapped in arrays, and they quickly chased after them. At the same time, 2 fog ships left to chase after them. Chapter 3566. Armor formed from the Chaos Earth. Everyone was shocked. It was the aura of the Chaos Earth. Rumor had it that these formations were formed by combining the Chaos Earth, which was why they could block the death fog. Of course, the armor formed from the Chaos Earth could also block it. The fact that Yu Shichia had such a treasure made many people's eyes turn red. The other party could escape, but they could not. For a moment, these people turned to look at the people from the Fiend Planet. Yu Shichia has already left. Please let us go. That's right. We have no grudges. Yes, we still have to go to the second astral realm. Please let us go. Voices rang out one after another. These saints and prodigies did not want to be captured. They just wanted to settle the matter peacefully. Moreover, the people who the Fiend Planet wanted to capture had already left. They should not make things difficult for them. However, the people from the Fiend Planet in the sky laughed loudly. What a joke. Are these people from the first astral realm? They're pitifully naive. It's true that we have no grudges, but who said that we need a reason to attack you? Because you're weak, you deserve to die. Can't you do that? The people on the island were stunned. Because you're weak, you deserve to die. To be honest, they had never thought that such a thing would happen. Of course, that was not rare. It was just that in the first astral realm, they were high and mighty existences. They could decide the life and death of others with a single glance. Now that they were here, they had become ants. Others could decide their life and death with a single glance. It was the first time they had experienced such a feeling. Therefore, for a moment, these people were stunned. Damn it, I'll fight it out with you. Immediately, a few young masters could not hold back. They were also geniuses of large families. They had come to the second astral realm to improve their strength. How could they be manipulated by others? Immediately, the terrifying laws of heaven and earth surrounded their bodies. Do you want to die? At that moment, another person walked out of the island. It was a black-robed man. When he took a step forward, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A group of black demons rushed out of his body, releasing a terrifying light. A large black hand reached out and shrouded the world. It directly slapped the resisting young masters into a bloody mist. Miserable cries rang out. The young masters roared angrily and shattered their souls to escape, but they were caught by the large black hand. Everyone felt their blood run cold. Who was this person? His strength was too strong. No matter what, those young masters were saints of the first heaven. But at this moment, they were like ants, unable to resist at all. Was this the strength of the fiend star? He was really too strong, so strong that they were terrified and in despair. Lin Xian was also extremely shocked. It was him. He could tell that he had seen that person before. Previously, at the banquet, he had seen two extremely mysterious people. One of them was a pale-faced man who was later confirmed to be the Vermilion Bird Palace Master who had been revived. The other person was this black-robed man. At that time, he had felt that the other person's aura was very powerful. Looking at it now, it was indeed true. This person should be from the demon planet as well. He should be the person who was following Yushirchia. Lin Xian thought. Merciless tyrant sneered. There is only one outcome for anyone who dares to oppose our fiend planet: death. Who else wants to die? Step forward. Seeing how powerful this black-robed man was, the others all felt their scalps go numb. Right now, their lives were truly in the hands of the fiend star. What do you want? The elders on the Milky Way also gritted their teeth and roared. It's very simple. This island belongs to the fiend star. All of you will obediently follow us back to the fiend star. We can spare your lives. Everyone went crazy and followed the other party back to the fiend star. Wouldn't they become the other party's slaves? Just as everyone was in a daze, the elders on the Milky Way roared, "Run!" They also soared into the sky. The elders on the Milky Way all fled. The people on the fiend star sent people to chase after them. Merciless tyrant said coldly, "Take over the island and the people on it. Take all their things. They are all our spoils of war. Whoever dares to resist will be killed without mercy. If they dare to join forces to resist, we will destroy the island and let them all die in the fog of death. I'll chase after you, Shurchia." After saying that, he turned into a stream of light and left. Everyone went crazy. Yushirchia had left, and the people on the Milky Way had also left. Only they were left. How could they escape? They didn't have the chaotic soil, so they couldn't leave. I submit. Please, spare my life. Some people didn't have such a strong backbone and immediately surrendered to the fiend star. This seemed to be contagious. After the first person surrendered, more people quickly fled. Not a single one of the 3 million elites dared to resist. Very well. Hand over your storage rings obediently and tie them. We won't kill you. People of the fiend planet, step out. Yi Zichen nodded. Everyone had no choice. In order to save their lives, they could only do as they were told. In the crowd, Lin Xian frowned. The Northern Devil and the Crimson Dragon's expressions also became incomparably ugly. Kid, what should we do? Are we really going to become their slaves? How could we become their slaves? There was no way Lin Xian would surrender. Although we don't have the chaotic soil, we still have some trump cards in our hands. We might be able to resist them. Hearing that, the Crimson Dragon and the Northern Devil also nodded. However, they were not careless at all. Whether or not this trump card could block the death mist was another matter altogether. However, they knew what they had to do. In particular, Lin Xian had too many secrets on him. If he was captured by the people of the Fiend Star, he definitely wouldn't be able to survive. He would probably be sliced into pieces, so he had to leave. You want to escape? How dare you send a voice transmission? Can you escape? Suddenly, an extremely cold voice came from behind them. Not good. The voice transmission was heard. How is that possible? Lin Xian and the other two's pupils constricted. Such a situation had never happened before. However, they didn't expect the people of the Fiend Star to have such powerful souls. It was unbelievable that they could directly receive their voice transmission. Let's go. They rushed into the sky and turned into 3 streaks of light. You want to leave? Can you leave? An old man sneered. He was holding a black bug in his hand. The black bug was very strange. It had a long ear on its back. It was this bug that had heard Lin Xian's voice transmission. It should be a mutated creature that specialized in eavesdropping on soul voice transmissions. Seeing that the other party wanted to escape, the people of the Fiend Star attacked. One of the sages took out a large black net that carried a cold aura. It enveloped the sky and earth. Chapter 3567. Not good. In an instant, Lin Xian and the other two were enveloped. Don't hold back. Lin Xian roared as sword chi erupted from his body. He charged into the clouds and hit the black net. The sword chi trembled, and the black net trembled under the onslaught of Zhang Xian's attacks. However, it remained intact. How is that possible? Lin Xian was shocked. The Northern Demon and the Crimson Dragon were also stunned. They also launched shocking attacks, but they did not tear the net apart. Catch him. Those people rushed over. Lin Xian roared, Ruzalong, come over here. As he spoke, he took out the Grand Sage Pagoda and a wisp of astral fire appeared. The astral fire flowed out, and a crack immediately appeared on the black net. Lin Xian rushed out. The Crimson Dragon and the Northern Demon followed closely behind. However, in the next moment, they were hit by a golden bracelet, and the two of them fell from the sky. It's the universe bracelet. Not good, kid. Run. This should be a sacred artifact replica. It's very terrifying. Don't get hit by it. Black Mountain quickly transmitted his voice. The Crimson Dragon and the Northern Demon also roared, Kid, run. Run. Yes, we're not ordinary either. They won't kill us. When the time comes, go to the Fiend Planet to find us. Okay, you two must protect yourselves. I'll go find you. Lin Xian also let out a long roar and soared into the sky. He knew that he could not delay any longer, or he would not be able to leave. Moreover, he believed that with the bloodline talent of the Crimson Dragon and the Northern Demon, they would be valued even if they went to the Fiend Planet. He thought that his life would not be in danger. He turned into a ray of light and charged into the distance. You want to leave? The middle-aged man sneered and threw out the diamond bracelet again. It was a bracelet that shone with golden light. It was covered with runes. It was a very terrifying sacred artifact. According to Black Mountain, it was a replica. The real diamond bracelet was rumored to be able to knock out everything. Its effect was similar to the white monkey's claws. The diamond bracelet quickly charged toward Lin Xian. It arrived in front of him in an instant and was about to hit him. Boom! Lin Xian roared and swung the annihilation spear. With a clank, it struck the diamond bracelet and sent it flying. At the same time, he used the Kuren Pong movement technique and tore open the void. Did he escape? The middle-aged man put away the golden bracelet. His face was full of surprise. There was actually someone who could block his attack. This kid was not simple, but it didn't take long for him to laugh coldly. So what if he's formidable? This fellow is only a person who boarded the ship, so he probably doesn't have any chaotic soil on him. There's no need to pursue him at all. Once he entered the fog of death, he would definitely die. The other people on the Fiend Planet also sneered. Indeed, no matter how powerful that kid was, he wouldn't be able to escape the death fog. Therefore, they all turned their gazes away and ignored him. The others were shocked. Lin Wudi had escaped. However, could Lin Wudi escape the death mist? Could it be that a prodigy of a generation was going to fall just like that? They shook their heads and sighed. Soon, they were no longer in the mood to care about Lin Wudi. They couldn't even save themselves now. Lin Xian left the Milky Way, turned into a stream of light, and flew into the distance in an instant. However, as soon as he came out, he felt a cold aura that seemed to want to devour him. He felt that his vitality was about to be sucked away. Oh no, this is the death mist. He was so frightened that he hurriedly used his divine body. Billions of rays of light bloomed, and he was like a golden god of war. However, the result didn't change at all. He realized that his vitality was still flowing away. If there was no other way, he would soon become a pile of bones and completely rot. Is this the death mist? It's too terrifying. Even my divine body can't resist it. No wonder no one dares to trespass here unless they have chaotic soil. However, Lin Xian really didn't have that. He snorted coldly, and the dragon sword soul in his body roared. Countless dragon-shaped sword chi surged out, forming a sword domain that enveloped him. The dragon sword soul could destroy everything, so it should be able to destroy this death mist. Sure enough, his guess was right. He could feel that the life force in his body was slowly weakening. Soon, it stopped. The great dragon sword spirit blocked the death fog, but soon, he began to worry. Although the dragon sword soul was powerful, there was too much death mist. Moreover, he had to use the dragon sword soul with all his strength to resist it. In this way, his flying speed was very slow. Who knew how big the death mist was? If he flew for a year and a half, he would be exhausted to death. Once his strength was exhausted, he wouldn't be able to resist it at all. Moreover, there were pursuers behind him. Thinking of this, he was bewildered. He turned his head and found that no one was chasing after him. What's going on? Aren't the people from the fiend planet chasing after me? On second thought, he understood. These people probably thought that he couldn't survive in the death mist. Therefore, they didn't even bother to chase after him. Thinking about it, even the 9 yang divine body couldn't resist it. If it weren't for the dragon sword soul, he would have really died in the death mist. However, this time, the people from the fiend planet miscalculated. He could still survive. He took a deep breath and asked, "Black Mountain, do you have a way?" Black Mountain said, "The death mist is very powerful, but the dragon sword soul is even more mysterious. If you're strong, like a great sage like me, you shouldn't be afraid of the death mist." Of course, even if you're a saint, you can enter and exit the death mist at will with the help of the dragon sword soul. But now, you're just a first heaven saint. You're too weak. Lin Xian's face darkened. "I didn't call you here for you to lecture me. Do you have a way or not?" He said, "There is a way. You can only use the great sage tower. But a great sage's sacred weapon should be able to resist the death mist." Buzz. Lin Xian took out the great sage tower and directly entered it. Then, he controlled the great sage tower and turned into a stream of light to leave. Black Mountain was right. The great sage tower could indeed resist the death mist. The great sage tower was left behind by the great sage of time and space. It was a great sage artifact that surpassed ordinary sacred weapons. It was not surprising that it could resist the death mist. There were probably not many great sage artifacts in the world. So, Lin Xian having a great sage artifact was unheard of. However, Lin Xian did not have it easy. Since the great sage tower was a great sage artifact, it consumed a lot of energy to activate it. Even though Lin Xian was a peerless genius, it was not easy to control the great sage tower. He had to fly for a while before stopping. The most important thing was that he didn't know the direction. He could only choose a direction and fly. Now, he only had one thought, and that was to see if he could meet other death mist ships. Then, he would follow them from afar. The following days were more difficult. Lin Xian controlled the great sage tower while enduring the burning of the starry sky flames. After all, the great sage tower contained a lot of starry sky flames. Although he had used most of them, there was still some left to temper the black earth. There was still some left. Although he had pulled away from the starry sky flames, the scorching heat still made him grimace. He knew that this was also a kind of cultivation. Indeed, his physique had strengthened during this period of time. But this pain was not something that anyone could endure. Damn it, he did not expect something like this to happen. Chapter 3568. Lin Xian did not expect that Yushirchia would cause such a commotion. Not only was he forced to leave the Milky Way, but he was also separated from the Crimson Dragon and the North Demon. He could not find the way to the Emperor II astral realm. Hopefully, the Ruzalong North Demon was fine. Lin Xian sighed and continued flying. The days were very boring, but a month later, he was suddenly stunned. Black Mountain said, "Kid, there's a star ahead. Do you want to go take a look?" There was a star world in the fog of death. Lin Xian's eyes widened. Impossible. How could this place be so terrifying that even a minor saint could not survive? Could it be that a group of sage kings lived there? It's not as exaggerated as you think. If there was a sage king in a world, the other worlds would not be able to survive. Black Mountain shook his head. That was a dead world. There was no life. Do you want to go and rest? All right. Lin Xian changed direction and flew towards the star world. At the same time, he asked, "What's up with this fog of death? Do you know?" Black Mountain was a great saint before, and a great saint from tens of thousands of years ago. Perhaps he knew the origin of this fog of death. However, Black Mountain shook his head. I don't know. When I was alive, the fog of death already existed. This place was very strange. I don't know how it was formed, but the power of death was a headache even for sage kings. Under normal circumstances, no one would come here. Of course, no one knew who discovered the chaotic earth that could resist the fog of death. Therefore, even if you were not strong enough, if you had the chaotic earth, you could still survive in the fog of death. Of course, even if you could survive, it would be very dangerous. Therefore, before coming here, you would take the huge fog ship. Black Mountain said that the fog of death was very dangerous. As for how it came about, no one knew. It was really mysterious. Lin Xian frowned. He continued to control the Great Sage Tower. Gradually, he discovered that there was indeed a star world in front of him, but it was dim and lightless. Looking from this direction, the death world was broken. Many places had been directly corroded. The entire world was gray, without a trace of life. However, Lin Xian finally had a place to stay, so he flew towards the world of death. Landing on land, he heaved a sigh of relief. The entire ground was gray, and he even discovered that there were plants here, but they were also gray. Some of them were even black, which was the color of the fog of death. He walked out of the Grand Sage Tower and felt around. He found that the aura here was very cold, but he could still resist it. It wasn't like the death mist, which directly deprived him of his vitality. This made him heave a sigh of relief. He put away the Great Sage Pagoda and found a place to sit down and recover his strength. 5 days later, Lin Xian's strength had recovered to its peak. Then, Lin Xian began to investigate his surroundings. Flying at a low altitude, Zhang Xian circled the area and found that other than some gray plants, there was not a single human or demonic beast in sight. Later on, he discovered some skeletons that were scattered all over the world. It seemed that this place used to be inhabited by humans and demonic beasts. However, for some unknown reason, they all died. Black Mountain guessed that perhaps because the death mist invaded a large area, it directly deprived the humans and demonic beasts of their lives. As he was flying, Lin Xian's body suddenly trembled. As if struck by lightning, he fell down. With a boom, he landed on the ground. The powerful force crushed countless white bones. What's going on? Someone ambushed me. Lin Xian's hair stood on end. He released his divine body and scanned his surroundings. Sword Chi crisscrossed around him. Who is it? He didn't discover anyone. He felt extremely strange. Was it a ghost that ambushed me? That force was too strong. Fortunately, his physique was strong. Otherwise, that attack would definitely have torn him into pieces. Damn it, is there no one? Lin Xian began to search the area, but after a round of searching, he didn't find anything. It was relatively safe for the rest of the night. However, after midnight, the surroundings fell into darkness, and there wasn't even any light. Suddenly, he felt another impact that sent him flying. The blood in his body churned. Lin Xian was completely enraged. Damn it, are you addicted? With a roar, the 9 heavens and 10 earths were pierced by the sword Qi. A pair of golden eyes were like the eyes of a god as they searched in all directions. Buzz. With a wave of his hand, 9 flaming divine feathers flew out of his body. These were the vermilion bird divine feathers used by the vermilion bird palace master. After he obtained them, he used the astral fire to completely refine them. He destroyed all the soul imprints on them, and then replaced them with his own soul imprints. The vermilion bird divine feathers were really good stuff. These were the feathers left behind by the real vermilion bird sacred beast. The 9 vermilion bird divine feathers were connected together like 9 divine swords that were controlled by him. They spread out in all directions. At this moment, he finally locked onto something with the heavenly secret god eyes. He blasted towards the ground. The ground was directly penetrated. The vermilion bird divine feathers were like a long dragon as they roared and hit that thing. With a boom, the void shattered. Lin Xian appeared below. He saw that it was a bone. A gray bone in the shape of a human. After that thing was hit, it emitted a frightened soul fluctuation. It instantly tore through the void, trying to escape. However, how could Lin Xian let it escape? He had already found the other party. Controlling the vermilion bird divine feathers, the terrifying power of the 5 forms of law attacked in all directions and fought with the gray bone. Finally, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. He broke the bone into pieces. Lin Xian roared. The vermilion bird divine feathers had a dragon-shaped aura that could destroy everything. The gray bone immediately became frightened. It emitted a soul fluctuation and stopped. Stop fighting. Let's make peace. Make peace. Lin Xian snorted, but at the same time, he was extremely shocked. This bone still had soul fluctuations. It seemed that it was not completely dead. Who are you? How dare you sneak attack me? You can't beat me, and now you want to make peace? Do you think that's possible? That person said. I had no choice. I wanted to leave this place too much. So when someone came over, I subconsciously attacked. Now I admit that I can't beat you. I don't want to attack you. Don't try to kill me. I've been here for 5,000 years. I'm incomparably familiar with this place. You can't kill me. Had he been there for 5,000 years? Lin Xian was stunned. Then, he narrowed his eyes. How did you die? When you died, was there anyone in this world? What happened to turn this place into a world of death? Ka ka ka. The gray bone began to assemble, forming a skeleton. It shook its head and made cracking sounds. There was a gray aura in its eyes. It said, when I came, this place was already a land of death. There was no one. I was forced to come here. In the end, I was swallowed by the aura of death and became like this. How could you survive after being swallowed by the aura of death? What is your strength? Are you a saint master or a saint king? Lin Xian asked suspiciously. Chapter 3569. I'm a Saint King, and I died here. White Bones said. Hearing this, Lin Xian gasped. Saint King? This was too shocking. However, Black Mountain sneered. No, he's not a Saint King at all. At most, he's a small saint. Lin Xian was also stunned after hearing this. He narrowed his eyes, and his eyes flickered with a golden light. Saint King, are you sure? Of course. I don't even know what my cultivation is. White Bones was stubborn. Lin Xian sneered. Is that so? But why do I feel that you're just a small saint? You found out. White Bones was shocked and in disbelief. Lin Xian snorted. It seemed that Black Mountain was right. The other party was indeed a small saint. Then what's going on? How could a small saint survive in the death fog? Did he have the chaotic soil? If he had that kind of thing, he wouldn't have died. The other party was now invaded by the death fog, but he wasn't completely dead. It was very strange. It seemed that the other party had a secret. Lin Xian continued. Tell me your secret. What secret? White Bones pretended to be stupid. Lin Xian said, It's impossible for you to block the death fog. How did you survive? I don't know either. I just survived by chance. I'm already a skeleton now. What secret can I have? If I really have a secret, I shouldn't have died. Boy, look at his skull. There's a problem. I don't think it's his own. Hearing Black Mountain's voice, Lin Xian looked up. Under the heavenly secret god eyes, he indeed saw a trace of difference. The other party's skull was indeed mysterious. It was different from the surrounding bones. However, it was covered by the other party. Ordinary saints couldn't see it at all. You don't want to tell me, right? Do you think I won't know if you don't tell me? Lin Xian probed. A big golden hand grabbed the other party's head. Damn it, what are you trying to do? White Bones roared. Starlight jumped out of its eye sockets to resist the golden hand. With a cracking sound, the starry gaze was smashed into pieces, and the large golden hand grabbed the opponent's head in an instant. He directly grabbed the skull and pulled it off. White Bones let out a miserable shriek. The moment the skull left, its body began to shatter, and its life force rapidly weakened. You can't treat me like this. Give it back to me. Give it back to me. He screamed crazily and begged for mercy. It seemed that without this bone, he had no strength at all. Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to him. Instead, He carefully examined the bone. He discovered that this bone was indeed very magical. It was very light in his hand, as if it was weightless. However, when he tried to break it with force, he discovered that the bone did not move at all. This was simply too inconceivable. He had a divine body and was extremely powerful. However, at this moment, he actually couldn't do anything to this bone. One could imagine that it was definitely extraordinary. Kid, look at the other side. Lin Xian flipped the bone over, and a shocking light appeared in his eyes. On the other side of the bone, there were countless black lines. Like Tao patterns, they were densely packed and formed one after another strange patterns. The eerie black pattern contained an aura of death, causing Lin Xian's hair to stand on end. What's going on? Why does it feel so similar to the aura of the mist of death? Still not going to tell me? Lin Xian looked at White Bones. White Bones was lying on the ground, dying. He said, I'll tell you. Save my life. Lin Xian snorted and threw the bone to him. White Bones pressed on the skull and heaved a sigh of relief. He seemed to have recovered. You're right. I'm indeed a minor saint. When I first came here, nothing happened. The aura of death in the surroundings wasn't strong. However, on the third year, the star world was suddenly enveloped by the mist of death. At that time, I couldn't resist at all. I kept rotting, and my life force was also taken away. I was so scared that I ran away. Finally, I escaped to a place where I found this piece of bone. With this bone, I was able to survive in the fog of death. Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. A bone could allow a person to survive in the mist of death. This was too unbelievable. Did this have anything to do with the chaotic land? He thought of this possibility, but soon shook his head. He had seen the chaotic land before. The two shouldn't have anything to do with each other. Moreover, what was even more strange was the black pattern on the back of the bone. It was very strange. He asked, What are the black patterns on the bone? Did you carve them? I didn't carve them. They're on the bone. Moreover, this is the special part of the bone. It's precisely the black patterns that allowed me to survive. What's the secret of this pattern? Lin Xian asked. I don't know. I've tried to draw the exact same Dao runes, but it was useless. It seems that only this bone is useful. White Bones seemed to be really scared and didn't dare to hide anything. He said, You should have felt it too. The black patterns on this bone are very similar to the aura of the mist of death. I guess that the two are of the same origin. So after I put this thing on, the mist of death thought that I was one of them. That's why they didn't attack me. Of the same origin. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He asked again, Where did you get this thing? Do you want to go to that place? White Bones' heart trembled. It seemed to have thought of something terrifying. He said, I can draw a map for you. You can go by yourself. Map? Why don't you bring me there? You still want to play tricks. A hint of cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. White Bones knelt on the ground with a plop. Big brother, don't kill me. I really don't want to die. That place is very evil. The last time I went there, I narrowly escaped death. I reckon that my good luck has run out. If you let me go there again, I'll definitely die. If you don't go, I'll kill you right now. Lin Xian's killing intent became even colder. White Bones struggled for a long time and sighed helplessly. Forget it, I can't hide. I've been struggling at death's door for thousands of years. It's time for an end. Let's go. I'll bring you there. White Bones will lead the way. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He followed silently. Although most of what this White Bones said was true, he was sure that it was still holding back. So he was always on guard. The two of them shuttled through half the world and seemed to have arrived at the other side of the world. Finally, Lin Xian saw a black shadow in front of them. It looked like countless black mountains. White Bones pointed ahead and said, It's inside those mountains. When it said this, its bones were trembling. It seemed to be very scared. Lin Xian saw this scene and frowned. He asked, What's inside that can make you so scared? Chapter 3570. Lin Xian looked at this scene and frowned, but he didn't say anything. He waved his hand and led White Bones forward. White Bones braced itself and followed. Walking into the Black Mountain, the surrounding atmosphere was very oppressive and eerie. It was as if they had entered the fog of death. Lin Xian didn't feel his vitality being taken away, but he felt an indescribable suppression. White Bones followed closely behind, afraid that something would suddenly appear. Suddenly, Lin Xian stopped in front. White Bones bumped into Lin Xian with a bang. Its bones were about to fall apart, so it quickly took 2 steps back. "Why did you stop?" he asked carefully. Lin Xian said that there was a person in front. "What? There was a person?" White Bones trembled. Lin Xian turned around. "Didn't you come here before? Didn't you say that there was no one here?" White Bones was scared when Lin Xian looked at it. It quickly said, "There really isn't anyone here. Let me see what it is." White Bones finally walked out from behind Lin Xian and looked forward. The next moment, it heaved a sigh of relief and said, "That's not a person. It already existed when I came here. Let's go and see. You walk in front. Don't try to play tricks." Lin Xian said coldly. White Bones had no choice but to lead the way. They walked forward. Sure enough, when they reached the front, Lin Xian found it. Indeed, it couldn't be a person. To be precise, it wasn't a living person. It was a dead person. That person stood there without any breath. Moreover, the flesh and blood on his body had long disappeared. Only bones and human skin were left. There were many small scales on the human skin. Even if this thing was alive, it wasn't a human, but a demon. Those who could come here were definitely extraordinary. They were at least saints, or even minor saints. However, they were also dead. And it seemed that they died because their vitality was sucked dry. It was a strange thing. "Let's go. Bring me to the place where you found White Bones," Lin Xian said. White Bones could only bring him through the mountains. Finally, they arrived at a ravine. There were many bone fragments. White Bones pointed at the ravine and said, "It is from here that I obtained this bone." Inside, Lin Xian glanced over and waved his hand. His huge soul spirit also entered and began to search. Soon, he withdrew his soul spirit. He didn't find anything special. At this moment, a lot of gray fog rushed out from the ground and swept in all directions. Feeling this aura, Lin Xian's expression instantly changed. "Fog of death, damn it, you dare to trick me." He grabbed White Bones' head, and White Bones trembled in fear. "No, I definitely didn't trick you. I don't know what's going on either. There wasn't any death mist here before." "Humph." Lin Xian coldly snorted as he quickly retreated with White Bones. The surrounding death aura began to permeate the air. Fortunately, there weren't many of them. Lin Xian's body was covered with sword qi, forming a sword domain that enveloped him. He set off towards the place where there was no fog. After flying for a while, Lin Xian came to a stop, because another strange thing appeared in front of him. A palace appeared in front of him. It was a black palace. It was tall, cold, and evil. He realized that the palace was built with stones. The stones were very similar to the stones in the surrounding mountains. It must have been made from local materials. There were many strange patterns on the stones. It was only when Lin Xian walked closer that he realized that the carvings on the stone pillars of the palace were all ferocious-looking figures. There were humans and demons. They were densely packed, as if they were evil spirits from hell. It was enough to make one's scalp tingle. "There's a palace here. I never knew about it." White Bones was also shocked. Lin Xian looked at him and realized that he really didn't know about it, because the soul fluctuation didn't seem to be faked. These stones were too strange. The figures on them were too similar. Lin Xian even felt that they were very similar to the person he met before. The person's life force was sucked dry and was only left with human skin. Could it be that the life force of these things was also sucked dry? Then they turned into human skin and exhaled on the stone pillars? Thinking of this possibility, White Bones almost peed in his pants. Of course, he couldn't pee now. However, he was very frightened. If Lin Xian's guess was right, then it was too scary. These human skins were not inferior to him. They were at least minor saints. Now, there were so many minor saints who were sucked dry and made into pillars. What was going on? Who was this person? How could he have such a shocking move? Even Hei Shan was surprised. Kid, I realize that your guess was most likely correct. Whether it's true or not, I'll know after trying. Lin Xian took a deep breath. If he broke a stone pillar, he would be able to see whether it was made of real skin or just stone. With a wave of his hand, 9 vermilion bird divine feathers flew out and floated around him, breathing out terrifying flames. What are you trying to do? White Bones asked in horror. As soon as he finished asking, he screamed, because he saw Lin Xian making a move. The vermilion bird divine feathers turned into a ray of light and rushed forward. A terrifying sound was heard. Flames splashed and the void cracked. This scene scared White Bones silly. He really didn't expect that the young man in front of him would be so bold to attack such a strange stone pillar. However, what made him relieved was that the black stone pillar was much harder than he imagined. Under this attack, it only shook violently and didn't break. Even Lin Xian was greatly surprised by this. What a tough stone. Humph. He snorted coldly and activated the vermilion bird divine feathers again. The 5 elemental laws revolved around the vermilion bird divine feathers, and sword chi danced in the air. In an instant, more than 1,000,000 attacks were carried out. No matter how powerful the stone pillar was, it couldn't withstand the attacks. Cracks appeared on it, and there were more and more cracks. Boom. With a loud boom, the black stone pillar finally couldn't withstand the attacks and broke into pieces on the ground. Pieces of human skin fell from inside. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He guessed right. It was indeed human skin. Why were there so many human skins? Were they all small saints? He didn't dare to think about it anymore. What kind of existence was it? Was it the other party who built the palace? Why was the other party here? Why did he kill these saints? And was the other party still alive now? Thinking of this, he felt a chill down his spine. White Bones was also stunned. He didn't expect Lin Xian to succeed. He was shocked at first, but then he became curious and began to explore the human skins. This human skin was not bad. He actually ate one of them and put it on his body. He was originally a skeleton. At this moment, after putting on the human skin, he looked like a walking corpse. Ugh. Suddenly, White Bones screamed and kept rolling on the ground. "Hero, save me." He begged Lin Xian for mercy. Chapter 3571. Stop pretending to be mysterious and get up quickly. Lin Xian glanced at the other party and said coldly. He had already used his soul to check. These people had no life force. How could the other party be affected? However, White Bones sent out a soul fluctuation in pain. No, he has my soul. He wants to kill me. Please help me. Help me tear open the human skin. Lin Xian sneered and was unmoved. However, after waiting for a while, he realized that White Bones' aura was getting weaker and weaker. Its soul was like an extinguished lamp. He realized that something was wrong. A sword chi slashed out and landed on the human skin. White Bones let out a miserable cry, but the human skin did not leave. Seeing this, Lin Xian snorted. The vermilion bird divine feather flew out, and an incomparable flame rushed over. This was the power of Yang, with an aura that could destroy everything. The human skin floated up on its own, and White Bones appeared inside. Thank you for saving my life. His soul fluctuation was very weak. At the same time, he looked at the human skin in horror. Damn it, this is too strange. Could it be that these human skins are still alive? Lin Xian was puzzled. He grabbed one of them and observed it from afar. However, no matter how he looked, he could not find any signs of life. He asked Black Mountain, but Black Mountain shook his head. He did not know either. He said, "Kid, why don't you ignore these things and go inside to take a look?" Inside? Lin Xian was stunned. He naturally knew that the other party was talking about this black palace. Did he really have to go in? Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian felt that he had to go in. There might be a power that could resist the death mist inside. He was trapped here and could not leave at all. However, White Bones had a bone that could resist the aura of the death mist. This stone was very likely related to this black palace. Therefore, if he went in, it was very likely that he would obtain the secret of the death mist. This was a huge temptation. Therefore, he decided to go in once. He walked forward, and White Bones behind him was still bewildered. His scalp went numb as he looked at the human face that had attacked him. To be exact, it wasn't a human, but a human skin with fangs and purple scales. It should be an existence of the devil race, but he had no interest in observing it now because he noticed Lin Xin's actions and immediately followed him. I advise you to leave quickly. This place is too evil. Don't go in no matter what. Lin Xin said, you can leave now. I must enter this place. After saying that, he used his hands to push the two black stone doors. Boom, boom. The black door was slowly pushed open, and a dusty smell came out. It was obvious that no one had been here for tens of thousands of years. There was also a cold and gloomy aura coming from inside, which made people's hair stand on end. Suddenly, White Bones shrieked, scaring Lin Xin. Lin Xin's body was surrounded by sword energy. He took a few steps back, and the black door closed. Lin Xin frowned and looked at White Bones. What are you screaming for? White Bones was trembling in fear. He stuck to me again. Even his soul was stuttering. Lin Xin frowned. He had indeed seen the human skin from before sticking to White Bones' back. This made him feel a sense of uneasiness. Can't you stay away from him? Lin Xin said coldly. White Bones was almost scared to tears. Hero, I really had him thrown far away, but he floated over by himself. Lin Xin waved his hand. The 9 suns' divine fire and the golden palm tore the human skin apart and threw him far away. Then, he cast a 5-element seal and completely sealed him. Then, he looked at the black door again. No matter what happens this time, you are not allowed to make a sound. If you dare to disturb me again, I will break your bones and destroy your soul. Before he made his move, Lin Xin warned White Bones. White Bones quickly nodded, looking very obedient. Lin Xin turned his head and walked forward. He pushed the black stone door open again, and the cold aura from inside flowed out again. At the same time, there was a disgusting smell, as if a corpse had rotted. This aura made Lin Xin very uncomfortable, so he didn't go in. Instead, he cast 2 sword energy and blocked the black door, opening it and letting the air outside circulate. After waiting for 3 days and 3 nights, the aura weakened a little. Lin Xin was surrounded by sword aura as he walked forward. He walked in and found that it was even darker inside. The whole building was made of black stones. Furthermore, this place was very strange. Even Lin Xin's soul was unable to probe too far. He couldn't even probe beyond 20 meters. It seemed that the whole palace was surrounded by a black fog. Could it be the fog of death? Lin Xin was shocked. At this moment, a gust of cold wind blew, and the 2 sword energy blocking the door were broken. With a bang, the 2 black doors were shut. This time, the light outside the door disappeared completely, and the whole hall was pitch black. Lin Xin snorted. He released his divine fire, but it could only illuminate a small area. There was a trace of cold sweat on his forehead. This place was too strange. Suddenly, White Bones screamed and sat on the ground in fright. Then, its bones broke on the ground. Lin Xin was also shocked. Then, he was angry. Didn't I tell you not to scream? Seeing White Bones scattered on the ground, Lin Xin was amused. However, he could not laugh now. He asked, why are you screaming? White Bones' soul fluctuations spread out. The human skin from before had floated over again, flashing in the vicinity. What? Did the human skin come over? How was that possible? Lin Xin was shocked. Could it be that he had sealed the human skin with the 5-element seal? How could it follow him in? Don't talk nonsense. But I really saw it. White Bones felt wronged. Suddenly, he screamed again and pointed behind Lin Xin. There's a black shadow behind you. Heavens, he's alive. This scene also gave Lin Xin a fright. Behind him? Thinking of this, he snorted and turned around. The golden light in his eyes penetrated the 9 heavens and 10 lands. He really saw a black shadow floating in the air. Its ghostly aura was eerie, like a peerless demon. This gave him a fright. He could not help but attack. However, at this moment, the black shadow said, "Damn, kid, you're scared out of your wits. It's one of us." Phew. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief, and his heart calmed down a little. This was because it was Black Mountain's voice. He said with a dark face, "Damn it. This place is so eerie. Why are you here? Do you think it's not scary enough?" Suddenly, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He saw that there was another shadow behind Black Mountain. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.